him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. 'Cause there's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you.
No new wars. He's the president of peace. No new wars. President of peace. No new wars. No new wars, everybody. No new wars. He's the president of peace. Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? How you feeling? Are you coolin'? Are you killing? Welcome to stream. Jovan Bradley at night. I gotta text Frank and have him do a nighttime theme song for me. That could be fun. Why do you flush while sitting down? Doesn't the water splash up? No, what's wrong with you? Thanatos, thank you for the $30 cash app. Said for Jibby talks too much. That's funny. I don't know how long I'll be on tonight. Total fucking honesty with you. I'm getting tired. I started putting soundproofing on my ceiling, and I have wall soundproofing coming tomorrow. So hopefully by Monday, my audio will sound a bit better. I need to get way more paneling for the ceiling, though. And I just don't know if it's thick enough. It's not thick enough, probably. I should probably get thicker paneling. Anyway, welcome to At Night Debates. Welcome to At Night Debates, where we debate at night. Hey, we invaded Venezuela. What the fuck? Okay, listen. I just want to say a few things like off rip about the Venezuela thing, okay? One, if you are going to talk about it, don't simp for Maduro. Okay? He wasn't a good leader. He was a fascist. Okay? So don't simp for Maduro. However, absolutely not the way this should have gone down. And I've seen a lot of people from Venezuela who are like, you don't understand. We're so happy about this. I'm like, okay, just when the United States extracts your resources for pennies on the dollar and you don't get shit from it, don't come crying to me. I'm sitting here over here trying to tell you. Like how many times you want me to up here and ride for you? Yo, shout out to Mealy Bun, Rain the Mancer, and 88 Kilos for being the first in Twitch chat today. Well, okay. So, yes, Trump did it without permission. The legality on this is actually muddy. Ooh, that's loud shit. And don't let the fearmongers, don't let people fearmongering convince you otherwise. The legality on this is muddy. Because he does have authority to do raids and not have to get permission from Congress, but notify Congress within 30 days. And so right now, the legal thing is going to be if this falls under that or not. I don't know. Because he can do it for national security reasons. However, they're going to try to say that, like, the drugs were the national security. I don't know that that's going to hold. So it's going to be an interesting battle. But here's what I need you guys to understand. Whether this is illegal or not, what do you think is going to happen to him? Nothing. Nothing will happen to Donald Trump if we do not take midterms. If I say we, like I give a fuck about, like I'm a Democrat. But if the Democrats don't take midterms, nothing will happen. And even that's a big if something will happen if the Democrats take it, because they could easily just go back to doing what they used to do, which is just letting him do whatever. But unless the Democrats take midterms, it doesn't matter if this is illegal or not. None of that matters anymore. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but whether or not it's illegal doesn't mean shit when you have someone like Donald Trump in office, who has consolidated all of his power, into the executive branch so he can do shit like this. What's SCOTUS going to do? Oh, well, we found this to be illegal, Donald Trump, so don't do it. I'm going to just do it more. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do it more. And then he's going to keep doing it. What's Congress going to do? Congress is in his pocket. Senate's in his pocket. The fuck, his base doesn't give a fuck. And we see what happens whenever his base does. Marjorie Taylor Greene went bye-bye because she pissed in his cornflakes. He can't keep getting away with this. But he will. I see so many people that are like, I can't wait for Trump to face repercussions for his actions. I'm like, did we grow up in the same America? Clearly we didn't. We clearly didn't, because the America I grew up in, rich people don't face consequences for the shit they do. That's the America I know and love. So here we are again. Here we are. The only way he's getting out of office is if his old age finally catches up to him, in my opinion. Like, I don't see it. I don't see how it could. I don't see like how it could go any other way, personally. Also, I haven't had dinner, and I'm fucking starving. What did y'all have for dinner? Anyway, we are live, guys. 219-327-8005. That number again, 219-327-8005. If you are a MAGA and you're interested in debating or you disagree with any of the topics on the board, call in. Call in. Here are the topics on our board today. How visible are the topics to you, YouTube chat? Are the topics too small? Trump is a terrible president. You have no compelling evidence for Christianity. Trans men and women are men and women. Gender affirming care for youth, and MAGA is uneducated. Parentheses, you will prove me right. I don't know if I even want to eat anything. Dude, my fucking car windshield got cracked. And I didn't notice it till the crack was really big. So now I have to call Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace, and get a new car windshield. Not this month, I'm not doing that. They are small on Twitch and blurry. Let me see if I can fix that for you guys. Over on YouTube, anyway. How's that, YouTube? Twitch, I know it's off for you. I'm going to fix it. Leave me alone. Yeah, no, it's kind of annoying. But if you want to support the show, guys, hey, yo, why not consider tipping? Getting our what should we do for merch giveaway today if we hit our goal over on Twitch? What do you guys want to see for merch giveaway today? A hoodie? We just did a hoodie yesterday. Oh my god, my water almost just went down. Mug? I could do a mug. I could easily do a mug. We'll do a mug. Okay, if we can hit our goal on Twitch, we'll do a mug giveaway today. My foot itches. Dude, the thing that really gets me about this whole fucking Venezuela thing is like how much they're not even hiding that it's about oil. They're not even hiding it, dude. Oh, where's the black one mugs? I think I left them in my car. They're both in there. They're just in my car. Hey, Lil Maine, thank you for gifting 1 sub out on Twitch and also resubscribing for 1 month at tier 1. Thank you. Yeah, no, they're not being subtle about it at all. Trump and Hex have both said, like, we're going for the oil, bro. This is about oil. At least when Bush did it, he kind of lied. He was like, no, we're looking for weapons. I can't do a Bush accent. We're looking for weapons of mass destruction. And Trump just said, we're going for the oil. It's the best oil. In fact, I wonder if we've put out that report. I wonder what our energy, our consumption has been. The EIA puts out a report that basically says, hey, this is how much energy we're exporting versus what we're importing. And I'm wondering if we have one for any of 2024 yet. 2025. 2024, we were exporting more than we were importing, which is a good thing. Here we go. Yeah, by 2023, we only have 2023's numbers. Do we have 2024's? By the end of 2023, we were consuming less than we were producing, and we were exporting more than we were importing, which is all where you want it to be when it comes to energy. Yo, thank you guys for the super chats. I read all the super chats at the end of stream, so consider hanging out with us, so I can read your super chat when we get to the end of the show. Yeah, so we were exporting more than we were importing, and then producing more than we were consuming by the end of 2023. I don't know if we have 2022's number or 2024's number. I don't think we have 2024's numbers. That's why when anybody mentions hold on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that we have the numbers for 2020, 2024. Yeah, see the commenter MRads on YouTube. Reading comprehension would have prevented that comment. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying to conservatives anymore. Like, hey, if you knew how to read, it would prevent you from making these comments. No new wars. President of peace. On God. Well, you're trying to say Colin or shut up, not very intolerant. Who said we were tolerant over here? Sorry, did y'all hear me say we were tolerant? I don't remember ever saying we were tolerant. Why is it okay for you to call a whole group of people uneducated? Because they are. Call in, prove me wrong, and I'll take the topic off the board. Yeah, I wish we had 2024's numbers on import versus export to know where we ended the year. Oh, here we go. The United States exported 30% of the energy it produced in 2024. So even 2024, we were still doing good. God, I can't wait for 2025 numbers. It's going to be a fun day. Is that why you took police and prison? No, I took prison abolition off the board because everybody kept agreeing with me. So it got boring. Can't really have a debate where every single person ends up going, you know what? I think you're right. MAGA chat warriors coming in hot. They always do. They're always chat warriors, dude. Always. I call comment warriors toe lickers because their comments sit under me. So they're just toe lickers. Just remember, Trump doesn't give a fuck about anytime one of them brings up Maduro and they're like, aren't you glad Trump got this drug trafficker out of into prison? First of all, Trump doesn't give a fuck about drug traffickers. Why did he fucking pardon Juan Hernandez? Why did he pardon the guy who ran Silk Road? He doesn't care about drug traffickers at all. This is a thinly guised, not even thinly guised. They've outwardly stated this is all for oil. This is because we want access to Venezuela's oil reserves. The United States has wanted this for forever. Barack Obama tried to pressure Venezuela to give us their oil reserves. This isn't new. You joking? And what's going to happen again is we're going to go into a country. Like, how do you think Maduro got put in charge? We're going to go into a country. We're going to severely fuck that country up economically because we're going to take their resources for pennies on the dollar. And we're going to, at the end of it, we're going to go, sorry. Happens every time, dude. This isn't new. This is how we ran this shit. This is U.S. imperialism at its core, dog. Yo, thanks for the subs over on Twitch. Yeah, no, it's the same story over and 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 over again. Same story, dude. Same story, different font. I'm just not gonna fall for the grift. Like, we heard Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth literally admit it. They said, we're going to install and put people in charge. Trump said, well, we're going to put like a team of people in charge of the country. That's not your call to make. And it's going to go to that woman that probably won the Nobel. She's probably going to be the one put in charge. Yo, Papa Snowflake, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships over on YouTube. W to you. Nikita Randall, thank you for resubscribing for 4 months. Thank you for being here for 12 in total over on Twitch. I'm from Venezuela, dumb shit. It's good. Great. Enjoy your resources getting extracted. Have fun. Have fun when the U.S. takes control of your oil. You know what's so funny? This to me is so similar to what happened in the Cuban Revolution, right? Cuba's like, hey, we hate Spain. We hate the fact that Spain is occupying us. Get them out of here. And the U.S. said, oh, yo, we'll help you get rid of Spain. We'll get rid of Spain colonizing you. And then they did. And then a week later, U.S. said, oh, now it's our turn. Now we colonize you. Now you're controlled by us. Oh, look at all this arable land. 70% of it is ours. It's all ours. Sucks to suck. It happens every time. Every single time. Like, this isn't new. And when it happens again, we're going to be sitting on the sideline going, damn, imperialism is bad. Isn't it bad imperialism happened? Pinochet shit still going. Literally. Oh my God. Chile, you voted in somebody? Well, we'll help you get rid of Allende. We'll help you get rid of him. And now here's Pinochet, a literal fascist. It's going to happen. And you know what's so funny to me about MAGA? They say all this shit about Venezuela, but they don't say shit about, because they're like, well, Trump just wanted to get rid of fascists. So he helped get rid of Maduro, the fascist. Yet he's buddy with Bukele. It's not about fascism. It's not about Trump getting rid of a fascist. Like, what the fuck, dude? You can't be buddy with one fascist and then be like, oh, but we're getting rid of fascists. While you're while you're sending literal fucking concentration camp victims to another fascist. Come on, dude. Get off of it. So fucking stupid. But it's fine. I'll let MAGA people just fucking fall in line with their dictator. It's cool. Fall in line with your fashy Trump. It's fine. I don't give a fuck. Unlike them, I read. So I know, because I open books. Reading would if you could read, you wouldn't be MAGA. If you read a book, guess what you wouldn't be? MAGA. Yeah, if you're gifted a sub, you can still get into the Discord. Yo, Yemye, thank you for gifting 5 subs to the community over on Twitch. Shout out to you, Yemye. Hitler did write a book, though. No, deadass. I saw a fucking podcast where the dude was like, yo, you put 1,000 monkeys in a room, they'll write Mein Kampf. It's like, that's the funniest misinterpretation of that quote I've ever heard. Dude, again, Trump has said it. He said that he wants control of the oil reserves, of the crude oil reserves. He wants control of them in Venezuela. That's a bad thing. Listen, if Trump were to get rid of Maduro and then said, I'm now giving control of Venezuela back to the Venezuelan people. Okay. I'd say, cool. W. Good for you. It's not what he's doing. It's not what he's doing. I'm not going to thank a fucking pedophile in a van just because he gave me candy before he fucked me in that. Sorry. Wait, clip that. Somebody clip that. Jovan, am I still getting free merch for Must Watch? Oh, 100% Transbot. I totally just forgot. I'll hook you up. Just remind me tomorrow in the Discord if you can. But I got you. I'll hook you up tomorrow, friend. The U.S. is a grift? True, friend. We got some people currently going through the screening process in the call screener, so we'll see if we end up with a debate. Come on, straw, get to the bottom. Let me put more water in there. Maybe that'll help the straw. Oh, I completely forgot about food. Yo, what do I want for dinner tonight, yo? I always forget to fucking eat for half the goddamn day. And then I'm sat here at 9 o'clock at night trying to stream to you guys, be like, damn, I haven't eaten since like noon. Teriyaki chicken? No thanks. Whoever said Waffle House, goated. Okay. We got somebody. Coming up first to the show, we have James. Now, James wants to debate about MAGA being uneducated. James voted for Trump. Let's see if he can prove us wrong. James, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
James. He, him, I guess. I don't know.
You don't know?
Weird question.
What's weird about it?
A lot of things have changed. Joking, of course. So that was kind of a rude way to start it. I wouldn't call Democrats uneducated, even though I find them, well, quite foolish.
I mean, I don't care if you do or don't, if you can prove that it's true.
Okay. Well, let's start with, so you keep calling Trump a fascist. Why do you think he is a fascist?
I think that his administration is quite literally engaging in all 14 points, 14 characteristics of fascism as listed by Umberto Eco in Fascism.
Yes, written by a guy who was a communist who really didn't really know what fascism was.
You think Umberto Eco didn't know what fascism was?
Umberto Eco was a fucking idiot and a propagandist.
Sorry, can you prove that he didn't know what fascism was?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I can prove that he does know what fascism was, but he was trying to obfuscate.
Okay, so if so you've already contradicted yourself. So he did know what fascism.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Well,
okay,
because
so he did know.
Well, all right. Have you read any fascist literature? Have you read Mussolini? Have you read? God, I just blanked on his name. All right, what are the core tenets of fascism, according to Mussolini?
I don't care what they are according to Mussolini.
I do, because that's, I don't know, one of the founding fathers of fascism. As one of the most important people who knows what fascism is.
Hold on. Mussolini the only fascist?
No, but he's one of the
Okay,
founding
great.
members.
So
Same thing
founding
with,
members is such a weird thing to say.
I want to say
So
other guy.
fascism isn't like a club.
Fucking blanked on his name.
There's no like founding members of fascism. He is widely considered one of the first fascists, and he did coin the term fascism. But like founding members of fascism would be a really weird thing to say because it's not like a club you join. So I would say that the characteristic
is radical collectivism. That's all it is.
It's not a club, and it's not radical collectivism.
Yeah, it is. That's their whole principle. They think the individual is lesser than the collective, and the collective must always come before the individual. That's the whole point of it.
Great. So again, the way that I would classify fascism would be through the 14 tenets listed by Umberto Eco. If you'd rather, we could do Lawrence Britt's, but I think Umberto Eco's are a little bit better. And I think that
I think he was an idiot and propagandist.
Okay,
and I know that he's an idiot and propagandist because he consistently says that he was.
I don't care whether you think he was an idiot or not. It means nothing to me. It means nothing to this debate. Prove his 14 points
Okay, well
wrong.
then how is he not a propagandist at least?
Prove his 14 points wrong. How was he?
Okay,
you're not substantiating anything that you're saying. You're just saying, well, prove he wasn't a propagandist. Prove he was.
Okay, well, then you're doing the same thing that I'm doing then.
No, I'm not. You're shifting the burden. You're claiming he's a propagandist and then shifting the burden on me to try to not prove it. That's what uneducated people do. Be educated. Substantiate your point.
Okay, well, first off, I quoted Mussolini, the motherfucker, one of them big guys who was
but Mussolini
a
has nothing to
massive
do with
believer in it. He was the big guy who pushed it.
Hold on. Mussolini has nothing to do with this. You asked me my criteria for what would make him a fascist. I said I'm going off of Umberto Eco's 14 characteristics, and that's what I think generally is going to label fascist states pretty well. And so you said, yeah, but I would rather do Mussolini's. And I said, I don't care about Mussolini's because you were asking me my framework for my... Yeah, but you were asking my framework for my position. If you'd rather have your own framework for a made-up position we're not talking about, go nuts. But then what are we debating about? You asked my framework. So poke holes in my framework as opposed to just, well, I think it's bad and this one is better. Okay, based on what?
Well, no, I was pointing out that he was wrong because he isn't even a member of, he doesn't lay out the principles. All he does is lay out things that he doesn't personally like. And we've known that he doesn't personally like it because he doesn't like national, because he was a globalist. We know that he isn't a big fan of...
This is so funny. What do you mean he doesn't lay? He lays out 14 characteristics that I think actually very easily map on to literally every fascist state that's existed. Can you point to me one single characteristic that Umberto Eco labeled that does not map on to a current to any historical fascist dictatorship?
Well, all right, lay them out right now. And let's go through them one by one. Because you can lay a lot of those principles, you can lay them on a lot of philosophies. That's one of my other biggest problems with 14
I know you
things.
think that you can.
Oh, I know that I can. It's been a while since I've last read them. I read him when I was in high school, and I went, this guy's a fucking moron.
Damn, you must have been super educated. So you read him, what, almost 10 years ago? Wow.
Yeah, I've read a lot of people. I've read everyone from Locke to Chesterton. I've read a lot of people.
Wonderful.
It's hard to keep track of them.
You're just trying to divert right now. Can you tell me which of his points do not...
all right, well, let's lay them out. Let's lay them out because it's been a while since I've last read them. And all I remember from them, and I can probably get them up right now, because we're both obfuscating right now. I'll give you that.
Nobody's obfuscating. I've labeled out my position. Right. It's not an obfuscation to ask you to substantiate your disagreement with me. Like, in what universe is that an obfuscation?
And so... I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic. Can you help me spell something real quick? I've also been drinking. Nope, not that one. Okay. Management. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Hello?
Still here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Waiting on you.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm horribly dyslexic. How do you spell principles?
P-R-I-N-C-L-P-L-E? No, that's not right. I can't spell without physically writing it.
No, that's fine, man. Yeah, that's completely. Hey, look, again, I'm dyslexic. I completely understand.
I spelled like principles or something. I don't know. Who cares?
Well, I keep spelling prince, and then it's like a fascism.
Well, he just type in, he labels them as characteristics.
All right. Oh, prince. Oh, characteristics. Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes.
There. Okay. Well, you don't seem to know the principles either. Okay.
What? You said you wanted to look them up. I can tell you them
I'm
right
trying
now
to
if
look
you
it up.
want
I'm
me
trying to spell it, and I'm
cult
sorry.
of tradition,
I'm horribly
rejection of
bad at
modernism,
spelling.
cult of action for action's sake, disagreement is treason, fear of difference, appeal to frustrated middle class, obsession with the plot. Like that was 6. We can keep going. Or was that 7?
Well, Mussolini didn't appeal to a frustrated middle class. He mostly appealed to a lower class. The same with Hitler, because it was mostly the lower working class that joined their side.
No, Mussolini directly appealed to a frustrated middle class because he appealed to business owners who were the middle class at the time. He did not appeal to the working class. He appealed directly to middle and upper.
Yeah, he did. It was frustrated war veterans who were mostly working class and the mining class. Yeah,
incorrect.
He did.
Incorrect. Mussolini 100% appealed to business owners.
The man who put heavy restrictions on businesses was the same man who appealed to business owners.
Homie.
Do you hear yourself talking?
This is hilarious. Yes, Mussolini directly appealed to small business owners. That's who he worked with to get into power. He was a shill for them to get into power. Or is this a joke?
Well, he also put heavy restrictions on that, and he was also a heavy component to
joke, right?
Workers' unions loved him. He was a big fan of that.
Workers' unions loved him up until he betrayed them when he was getting into capitalist power. Is this a joke?
No, he betrayed a lot of people. And again, fascism is not socialism or capitalism. It's collectivism at any cost. That's their whole principle. That's all they believe in.
Homie.
And Mussolini, until the day he died, called himself a socialist. Same thing with Hitler. Hitler considered himself a socialist. So did all of his high-ranking men consider themselves socialists. They all considered themselves socialists.
Thank you for proving point number 5. Hitler did not think he was a socialist. He hated socialism. He used the name socialism so he could get into power, which is what Mussolini did.
No, he hated Marxism because he thought Marxism was going to divert the race struggle to a class struggle. That was his problem.
To get into power.
And again, all of his high-ranking men consider themselves socialists. They consistently consider themselves socialists. They had anti-capitalist policies. Their end goal was to have control over every major corporation, have control over every major institution in the system. Their end goal was radical collectivism.
Proving my point.
They did not care about.
Thank you for proving point number 5. I just want to thank you for this. Anybody worth their salt. Because anybody worth their salt who calls Hitler a socialist is very much proving point number 5.
How?
Is it a joke?
The man who called himself a socialist, who considered himself a socialist, who said that he was fighting for social justice multiple times.
At all.
And again, I'm not saying that he was a diehard socialist. He was a radical collectivist. He believed in control over
every single historian you look at who's going to talk to you about Hitler is going to say that calling Nazis or Hitler a socialist is just a historical farce.
No, it isn't, because I just finished the book where he just laid out the principles and went, yeah, he was he was kind of a weird guy. Wasn't a capitalist, and just as I said, he wasn't a diehard socialist. He was a national socialist. He had his own beliefs.
National socialism.
I wouldn't even call Hitler a fascist. I would call him a national socialist.
Is that a joke?
I'm not joking. I've read a lot of
God
Nazi
damn,
literature,
dude.
like an uncomfortable amount. It's a weird guy. Like, they believe some weird things, like pagan death cults, weird stuff. They had some wild beliefs. The Nazis were crazy. They were a bunch of drug-addled,
Hitler definitely wasn't
socialistic.
definitely wasn't a fascist. Yep, definitely, for sure. Couldn't be. How could he have been, right? Definitely wasn't a
Well,
fascist.
I said he wasn't. He wasn't really a diehard socialist either. He was a national socialist. He had his own belief system. I mean, he believed
not
stuff so
socialism.
wild that I wouldn't categorize him as a fascist or a socialist. I would categorize him as a national socialist.
Based on what you said about fascism, how does Hitler not? Based on your definition of fascism, how does Hitler not meet that definition?
You mean the ones that were laid out by Mussolini and other famous fascists?
Homie. What did you say fascism was? Like,
it was radical collectivism. Hitler believed in radical collectivism, yes. But he was also,
Hitler wasn't a fascist.
He also advocated for paganism and a bunch of other weird stuff.
Got it. So Hitler wasn't a fascist, even though he did the thing that you said must be done to be a fascist. Got it. For sure.
Well, you can have multiple. It's just like an industrialist might have several capitalist principles, but that does not make an industrialist a capitalist.
For sure.
Would make him an industrialist, correct?
No, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's just like Henry Ford. People say that he was a capitalist. He wasn't. He was an industrialist.
Oh, yeah, no,
because
for
he
sure.
praised several socialist institutions that implemented industrialism. He did not care about capitalism. He was an industrialist at the end of the day.
Definitely, Henry Ford was not a capitalist, 100%.
No, he was an industrialist. He was a massive advocate for it. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, you're condescendingly saying definitely. Why is he not?
Why is who not what?
No, never mind. You're clearly not educated, as you would say, enough to understand what I just said.
Yeah. Or you weren't clear. Or you weren't clear in what you said. And we were talking about multiple people, and then you said, why is he not? So then I asked you about why is he not what, about who, because we're talking about multiple people.
Well, no, I said that because I was giving an example of how one person can believe one thing while also believing in another thing.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. You can be a radical collectivist and not be a fascist. That's just one of the core principles of fascism.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't classify him as a fascist, mostly because he was not anti-religion, which fascists were pretty much anti-religion consistently across the board.
Hey, quick question. Industrialism. Just quick question. Is that an economic system?
It can be and also cannot be. It's more of the belief. That they really want to industrialize. So this was more during the early 1900s, where basically these guys, they didn't really care about economic systems. They more cared about factories. They believed that the future was industrial, that everything should be industrialized. That's why Henry Ford praised both communism and fascism, because he was an industrialist. He wanted them to industrialize.
Yeah. Quick question. Just so that I can understand. Can industrialists be capitalists?
Oh yeah, they can also be socialists. They can also be fascists. They can also be native.
Just real quick, just so that I know, what did Henry Ford do that you would consider socialist?
I never said that he was a socialist. I said he was an industrialist.
Yeah, great. So then he was a capitalist too.
Yeah, well, he believed that as an instant mean, but he also praised socialist governments and fascist governments.
I mean, I don't really care what he praises.
He was an industrialist. He doesn't really care. As long as industrialism is implemented.
Hold on. Just so that, because maybe I am the uneducated one here. Did he maintain control over the means of production?
Right, but you're not understanding my point.
But he did, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He also revolutionized the work week, and he also advocated for workers' rights. What's your point?
Great. Advocating for workers' rights doesn't mean you're a socialist.
Right. I never said that was. I was just pointing out that.
Right. So he was a very
complex man.
I just want to confirm, though, he was a capitalist.
No, he was an industrialist. He uses
industrialism is not an economic system. So whether he was an industrialist, which only talks about the mode of production, versus a capitalist, which would talk about an economic structure, those are not mutually exclusive. So just because you're an industrialist doesn't mean you can't be a capitalist.
Have you ever read?
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Atlas
You've
Shrugged?
already wait. Stop. You've already acknowledged that capitalism and industrialism are not the same when we're looking at them as systems. So when I say he's a capitalist, and you go, no, he's an industrialist. That would be like me going, the house is white, and you go, no, it's striped, even though like half the stripes are white and the other half are like egg white.
Well, this is where I disagree. Like, case in point, have you ever read Fountainhead?
No.
Okay, don't read it. It's an awful book. But a lot of people criticize Fountainhead because it depicts someone who seems at first glance to be a capitalist, basically fuck up his businesses over and over again until he basically not gives up until he succeeds. A lot of people criticize that because it seems like a criticism of capitalism. It is not. It's because the main character in the book is not a capitalist. He's an objectivist.
That's crazy. Except Henry Ford was a capitalist, though.
No, I was making a point how it might seem like on paper that he is one thing, when you actually look into what he believes, he is another thing.
What is capitalism?
Because again, Henry Ford didn't really care
James,
if
what is
a
capitalism?
socialist was an industrialist or a fascist was an industrialist or a capitalist. As long as they were industrializing, he didn't care.
James, what is capitalism?
Sorry, you're breaking up. Hello?
What is capitalism?
Hello? Do you hear me?
Yep.
You're breaking up, sir.
Okay.
Breaking up, sir?
So fix your internet. I don't know what to tell you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Excuse me, sir? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up real bad.
So
hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yes. Is that better?
I didn't have any issues.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, do you hear me?
Okay. Well, I guess that I'm not going to keep playing telephone. This is singular wireless. I'm not raising the bar over here, Doc. I've never heard someone try to make the argument that Henry Ford was not a capitalist. Like one of the biggest capitalists to ever capitalist? No, he definitely wasn't a capitalist, bro. For sure. No way. Yeah, no. Definitely not. How could he be? God damn, dude. Yoshi, thank you for the Cash App. Said, I'm not broke no more. I'm delivered. That's fucking funny. Like, Homie said, hello, sir? Hello? Hello? Sir? Hello? You there? Yeah. You know my biggest issue with the framing of fascism being like rapid collectivism? Fascists don't collectivize shit. Unless he's going to say collectivizing is just the government collecting people's resources. Like, what? Like, in what universe? All right, let's take the next call. Oh, wait. Oh, no. All right, next up, we have Matt with 3 T's saying, calling to talk about Trump not being a terrible president. So let's find out. Matt with 3 T's. If you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Yes, sir. Matt, male.
Okay, you didn't answer a single question I asked you.
Didn't you say your name and your pronouns?
I said age and pronouns.
Oh, let me get this off speakerphone. I'm 40 years old. My name's Matt, and he, him.
There you go. Okay, now Matt, you think Donald Trump is not a terrible president. How many times did you vote for Trump?
All 3 times.
All 3 times. And what was the reason?
Yes. The first time was a fuck you vote, essentially, to the establishment. It seemed like everybody hated him. So, you know, it's in a burn it down kind of stage. And then it kind of started to make sense, at least for the second term, that both establishment Republicans and Democrats hate him. So, kind of onto something there. And then thirdly, I mean, between Kamala and Walz, that was just, you know, there's just not even a chance for me to vote for those two. So I feel like I rationalized all 3 of them.
I didn't hear anything about a policy position or legislation pass or anything.
I didn't know.
You just voted for him. You just voted for him based on vibes.
Yeah, well, I was just giving you an overview is why, but I mean, first time I've ever called in and done this. I don't know how much detail to get into or what topics we get into.
Sure. No, it's just that, like, if I'm asking somebody the reasons they voted for somebody, I just would want something more than just like I vibed with that person, you know?
Well, yeah, I understand that. I was just telling you the reasons why it made me start listening to Trump, and you know. But as far as policies and things go, I mean, especially this third time, the whole idea of the tariffs, I think, is totally functional and proving to possibly be a really big benefit.
It is.
It's the complete opposite of what it was predicted to be by most experts and economists and whatnot. So that was a good idea.
Do you think? Hey, real quick.
What's up?
Do you think graphics cards shooting up in price 150%? Do you think that's a good thing?
Probably not. No.
That's directly due to tariffs.
Yeah,
it's like literally.
Sorry?
That is directly due to tariffs. Graphics cards have quite literally shot up in price 150%.
I'm sure there's things that have gone up, and I'm sure there's things that are going to go down.
What's gone down due to tariffs?
I'm sorry?
What
It's
like
determined.
consumer
there's
item
a
is?
lot of companies.
Well, no,
Go
you
ahead.
just said I'm sure things have gone. I can tell you exactly what's gone up, but what has gone down in consumer pricing because of tariffs?
Well, first of all, it's just started, so it's an idea of
Tariffs have been. What do you mean? We've had tariffs for years. Trump's tariffs have gone into effect a couple months ago. Well, it depends on the country. But
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Trump's tariffs, yeah.
Okay, but some of
And,
his tariffs have been implemented.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so. So, what are you saying? Is tariff bad in general? There's no good.
Yeah, I don't know why imposing a import tax on U.S. citizens is a good thing. I thought we were anti-taxes.
That's not necessarily. This is like a pretty big blanket statement. So, not all tariffs good, not all tariffs bad. That's a given.
And I'm not saying. Wait. I agree with that. I think targeted tariffs are in a country are fine because they go to like working out specific deals. Trump's not doing targeted tariffs though. He's doing blanket tariffs, which means he's just putting in blanket import tax on the U.S. consumer. I think it's a bad thing.
You keep adding that to the U.S. consumer. That's not accurate.
Okay, you're right. To the U.S. business owner, who then passes the price off to the consumer.
No. What I'm saying is it's not just.
No. Who pays? Wait, Matt.
Right.
Who pays the tariff?
Well, it could be either party.
No, it can't be either party. It is only ever one party.
No, that's not true. 100%
yes, that is true. Matt. The person exporting the good does not pay the tariff. Only the person importing the good pays the tariff.
No, man, that's not true.
It is.
Are you in the business at all?
Yeah, yes, that is true.
Okay.
1,000%.
No.
How much money would you? How much, Matt? I will put $100 of my own money.
$10,000 right now.
You're sure you want to take that bet?
Do you know what delivery duty pays are?
Are you? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about tariffs, Matt.
Do you know what delivery duty paid is?
Matt, we're talking about tariffs. We're talking about tariffs specifically. No, they aren't.
Dude, these are tariffs.
Matt, are you taking this bet? I need a vocal confirmation that you're taking this bet.
Dude, Do you know what DDP is?
Do I know what GDP is?
No, DDP is delivery duty paid.
Matt, what does that have to
These
do
are tariff payments. Okay, and there's another one. There's free on board, and these are between
Matt?
private companies. Now, listen, hear me out for a sec, because I'm 100% positive on this. I'm in the industry. I did a lot of importing with India. I'm in the horticultural industry. I've done a lot of importing for product manufacturing, so raw material import.
You don't know what DDP. You don't know what DDP is. If you're claiming that it is a tariff, no.
No, I'm not saying it's a tariff. It's part of the fees.
The tariff,
it is,
the fee of the tariff is only paid by the importer into the country the tariff is made from, Matt.
All right, we're not going to agree then. We're not going to agree on this.
Matt, there's no... Wait, Matt. Please go to Google for me.
What's up?
Please go to Google. Okay. And I just want you to type in who pays the tariff, the importer or the exporter.
Dude, look, I don't need to go to Google. And hear me out on this, man. Look, so
holy shit.
I know. No, don't holy shit. Dude, listen to me. You're going to learn something. I mean, I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm telling you, I've done a lot of business importing from India. And here's the thing: when I do business with them, one of the advantages is they want our business. So between two private companies can negotiate on who's going to pay for any of the import-export fees. It's, there's no one stopping a company for saying, hey, you know what, I'll cover that. And they put the money up for it. They do it all the time. It's you are not required by law as domestic importers.
Matt, that doesn't matter. If a company is gonna go, hey, I'll pay it just because I'm nice to you, importer. If an exporter goes, I'll pay it just because it's not, like, that doesn't mean anything legally.
Yes, it does.
No, because all they're doing is they're paying them back.
You're not in the business.
Holy shit, dude.
Don't holy shit me. Just
oh my god, Matt. If I say to you, Matt, hey Matt, I'm buying us McDonald's, and I go and buy us McDonald's, right? And I pay for your McDonald's, and I come home and I'm like, here's McDonald's, Matt. This is for you. And you're like, oh, thanks for buying me McDonald's. And then you go, oh, you know what? I'm feeling generous today. Here's the money back. I still paid for the McDonald's. You're just paying me back. I still paid for it. You didn't have to pay for it. You're just doing it to be nice. I didn't ask you for it.
No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. I'm not. So look, there's nothing to say that it just needs paid. It doesn't matter where the money comes from.
The responsibility of paying it is on the importer. If they can get the exporter to pay it because they're nice, great. But the responsibility of payment is on if the exporter doesn't pay it, the only person who gets faulted for not paying it is the importer. The importer physically can't bring the items into the country without paying the tariff. The importer can't.
No, I understand that. But I'm just saying that between private companies, prices are negotiated in all kinds of different ways. I mean, we're just beating a dead horse at this point. All right, you're saying that, I mean, I don't know where we go from here, but it's not always going to be the domestic importer, period. So it's not
the
like
responsibility is always on the importer, 100% of the time.
There's no changing your mind on this. That's okay.
There's no changing my mind because it's quite literally the law that the importer is always responsible. If they can get someone to pay them for it, great, but they are still legally responsible for paying that tariff.
No, I'm not saying that there's no legal responsibility, man. Like you're the way I interpreted what you're saying is because these tariffs are now imposed, that automatically takes the money out of the pocket of the domestic company, and that's just not true in many cases. So we can just leave it at that because we're just going in circles, but. Okay, the law is one thing, but what actually happens in reality is a completely different story.
How long have we been talking?
Does that make sense?
How long have we been talking for? 10 minutes? Has it only been about 10 minutes?
I'm not sure. I can look at my phone. It doesn't. Shit. Yes. Well, no, I've been on hold for so long. I don't know how long we've actually been talking. I've been on hold for 33 minutes.
Listen. There's not a single product in the United States currently where tariffs have decreased the cost of that product. None of them. Tariffs so far. Now you can say tariffs have been a positive because look at all this money that we're taking in. And my response to you, would be it's not covering the deficit that is being put in by the Trump administration. So what does it matter that he's bringing in money from the tariffs when it's not covering the amount he's spending?
So say if so let's give him 3 years. Say if the 3 years goes by. Say if so what's like approximately $10 trillion has been I don't know if the contracts went through or not, but there's about $10 trillion of investments that have said to be coming to the country, which benefits so many different states. In 3 years, if that materializes, there's going to be a net positive there. So it's like, okay, I could see your point of this looks like it could be problematic year one because you're only looking at the downside. But the upside of it is if this all materializes, this could be huge for American companies, American businesses. Those tariffs won't mean shit if everything's being produced here. Or not everything, but a lot of industries.
How long do Americans have to shoulder the burden until then?
Well, it depends on who ends up paying for these imports.
Well, again, we're seeing prices rise. So the prices are rising, and Americans are shouldering that burden currently because prices are currently going up. So how long?
Been a big. I can't answer that, and
these factories aren't going to be built in 3 years, my guy. We know that for a fact.
Well,
they're not going to be built in 3 years.
Factories.
So again, my question is just how long do Americans need to shoulder this burden? So people just need to hunker down and pray.
Well,
beef is going up.
Come on, man. I feel like
beef is going up. Groceries are going up. I'm not being extreme. Beef is going up. Grocery prices are going up. Electronics are going up. Home electricity is going up. Home electricity is up 22%. How much longer do people need to shoulder this burden?
I know. Or is the fuel's way down? It's kind of like
fuel is down. It totally makes sense to me that fuel is down. Of course it's going to be down. It was skyrocketed for years because of Trump's deal with OPEC.
Well, it's down. That came down. So it's like let's.
It came down because Trump's deal with OPEC ended, so people could actually start producing again.
Yeah, it came down
because Trump's deal with OPEC. When Trump made a deal with OPEC in 2020 to raise fuel prices, when that deal expired and OPEC countries could start producing again, oil prices started going down because Trump's deal expired. They haven't done a new deal with him yet.
Well, it came down in Trump's term, so regardless.
Wait, do you think? I'm sorry. Do you just associate anything happening while Trump is president to being because of Trump?
No, I'm not saying.
So then if prices come down because something he did stopped, that's not happening because of Trump, right? That's happening in spite of Trump.
No, not necessarily. I don't know the inner workings of that deal, man. I don't. I'll be honest.
Matt, if I'm a school bully and I beat you up every day for your lunch money, right? Every single day you come in, I beat you up and I take $5. Stop, Matt. Hold on, Matt. Every day you come in, I beat you up and I take your $5 for your school pizza. And one day, Matt, one day I stopped doing that. Hold on, I just want to know. One day I stopped doing that, so you have that money to buy your lunch. Did you buy that lunch because of me?
Hey, you know what, man? You have a good night.
Okay, see, crash out, I guess. Goodbye. Fuck, how do they always prove number 5, dude? How do they always do it? How do they always prove number 5? Fuck. God damn. I spilled my water. Remember how earlier I was like, I almost spilled my water, and then I did. I spilled it. God damn, motherfucker. I didn't record that whole call, and so I'm a little annoyed about that. So it's okay. I can write myself a note. Get full call from. There we go. Bro said it's Trump. It's because of Trump. Huh? How does that make sense? I think Trump has had fuck all to do with gas prices. Anyway, if you disagree, guys, 219-327-8005. If we can get some more MAGA to call in, great. Let's get some more people. What lo-fi mix is this? I don't know. It's from some website that gives you royalty-free music for your streams. Not royalty-free. You like buy a license to music, and then I can play it on stream and stuff. God damn, dude. I didn't even get to finish my perfect hypothetical. God damn. I go, who pays the tariff? Importers. Well, but what if the exporter pays them back for it? Oh shit, dude. Whoa. You got me there. Holy shit. Ooh. Relax. Anyways, bring in the next caller. Next up to the show, we have Jack. Jack thinks that trans men and women are not men and women, so let's see how Jack substantiates that. Jack, if you can hear me, please provide me your age and pronouns.
Hey, I'm 25 and I'm a male.
Okay, you answered one of the two questions I asked you. I can ask it again.
Well, I think it's kind of relevant to the conversation, don't you?
Would you like me to ask the question again? Because I can.
Well, sure, but I mean, I guess my pronouns are he, him, but
You guess.
I feel like it's a little unnecessary to.
Would you prefer she, her?
That.
You don't need to do he, him if you prefer something else.
That's a good point. Nice, fair point. But they're he, him.
Okay, great. Now, Jack, you don't think trans men and women are men and women. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Jack, do you believe sex and gender to be the same thing?
No, it depends on your definition, I suppose, and what context and what field, but generally, no. On a general knowledge basis, no. I would say that sex is different from gender.
Right. So what is gender?
I think that gender is constructed in a more recent time frame. So
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by gender is constructed in a more recent time frame? What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that what we refer to as gender, I would say, well, let me start with this, right? I think that sex is a biological term. So, and I don't think it has anything to do with genitalia, right? Because I'm aware of people who have penises and boobs, or they have multiple genitalia and other facets. But I believe it has to do with your X and Y chromosomes. I think it's kind of that simple.
Okay. So, do you believe? So when you say it has to do with your
chromosome, the father provides the alternate.
Okay. So you believe your sex is entirely based on chromosomes?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That would be incorrect. Based on how sex is determined biologically. Like on a scientific basis.
Well, can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Sex isn't defined by one specific trait. It's defined by 5.
I'm sorry. What source are you using for this?
I mean, I could pull it up for you out of a biology textbook if you'd like.
That'd be nice, actually. I'd like to know which biology textbook you're using, because that's
Sure.
never something that I learned in school or anything that I researched. So
Sure. Give me one second.
we might be having an example of malinformation here. So I'd like to know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Give me a second. Let's pull it out of. Let's get it from. I'm trying to pull an actual book here. It's
from
for,
a very
just,
quick Google search. Go ahead.
It's just so you know, it's the 5 characteristics of sex is how we determine something's sex.
Well, I mean, I'd like a source on that before I know it. But, I mean, from a quick Google search, it says that it is either of the 2 main categories, male and female, into which humans and most
That's
other
just a
living
definition,
things are divided
friend.
on the basis of their reproductive function.
Friend, that's just a definition.
Well, yeah, but you did ask me to define what I'm talking about between.
No.
sex and
I'm
gender.
talking about
So
how sex is classified. I'm not talking about a definition for it. I'm talking about how it's classified in biology.
It's interesting. Okay. Let's see here. So are you saying you can't find the source?
I'm just trying to pull up a textbook for it. Just give me a second.
Okay, so I do see Google kind of does back your point up here. Generally, sex classification generally refers to biological categories, male, female, intersex, based on chromosomes, anatomy, and reproductive functions. So that's the 3 categories there.
No, there's 5 specifically. I'm trying to pull up.
I believe you.
Developmental? Is it developmental biology that has it? The problem is once I pull the textbook, I now have to Control F and try to find the actual part in the textbook that talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a second.
Excuse me. You're sure that you're not referring to sexual orientation?
Nope.
You're talking
referring
about
to
sex?
the characteristics of
Okay,
sex.
got it. Biological sex.
So it's gonna be chromosomes, hormones, gonads, internal external genitalia is typically how sex is determined.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Would you say? Can I ask you a question though? Do you think? This is just genuinely a question. Genuinely a question. If somebody were to have a abnormal, let's say, not to be rude or anything, I'm not trying to put anybody down or nothing, but in general, people are usually men or usually women. So if somebody were to have an abnormal mix of those classifications that would put them into another category, would somebody who has 2 X chromosomes or somebody that has 2 XY chromosomes, would they be? Let's put them in a scenario, right? Let's say they died, and then 1,000 years later they were dug up, and scientists were trying to determine what their sex was. They wouldn't be able to really determine.
I would argue that scientists get it wrong. By the way, right? I would just say science gets it wrong constantly. By the way, I got the book.
That's a very bold stance to take.
I don't think it is at all. The book is Introduction to Health.
Why do you not think that it is?
Huh? Why don't I think that it is? Because scientists get
why do you
gender.
Not think that you're...
Because scientists or archaeologists get the gender of skeletons wrong consistently.
No, that's not the question I asked. What I was inferring is, why do you think that the stance that you just took, that science often gets the classification of sex incorrect,
when it comes to when it comes to skeletons?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because skeletons can only show you, because skeletons can quite literally only show you the shape of a pelvic bone if there's been no damage.
Right. Well, that's an interesting point to make, but I think it is, well, consider this, right? It's hard to actually know factually anything. What I mean by this is, if you take Advil, you know that you're taking ibuprofen. But you don't really know that because you didn't take the Advil home and you didn't run it through a chemical testing kit that you have at home and in order to determine that it is ibuprofen that you're taking. You just read the label on the box and you took ibuprofen.
What does this have to do? What does this have to do with anything?
Right? Yeah, I'm getting to a
so
point
confused.
if you let me finish. So what I'm getting at there is there might be more additional classifications that we can put on to a person while they're living, but when it comes to their, well, in my view, like their simple biology, when they're dead and when they're born and when they're going through utero, where we can classify the male or female
pelvises are not
based off of their
universal.
chromosomes.
Pelvises are not universal. So I don't know what you're trying to.
Sorry?
Pelvises are not
Say it again?
universal.
Pelvises are not
The
universal.
pelvic bone is not universal.
Right. Well, I'm not even speaking to their pelvises necessarily. Like if you had a piece of their DNA.
That's how you would. Okay, but then it's not the skeleton that you're getting their gender from. You said skeleton.
Right. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have been more clear. Like maybe if there's a piece of flesh attached to the skeleton that they could extract DNA from.
Yeah, then
they
maybe
would
we
determine
can.
their
Then we would
sex
be able to
from their chromosomes.
possibly determine your sex chromosomes if that person
Right.
doesn't have mosaicism or something else. Well, then we could maybe determine your sex chromosomes. But sex chromosomes are not. Okay, let's break it down really simply. Okay, do you believe that, for instance, man and women as category distinctions, do you believe those categories are exclusionary?
Yeah. Are they exclusionary? In my simple view, yes. Yeah, they're exclusionary.
Okay. So if you're
Now,
saying
I'm
they're
not a
exclusionary,
scientist. I'm just saying from a
no,
like
that's
a
fine.
social
I'm asking you
standpoint.
about
Yeah.
your. That's fine. I'm asking about your belief in general. So they're exclusionary. So what is the trait that is necessary to get into either of those categories?
Being male or female.
Okay. So what's the trait necessary to be female?
To have XX chromosomes.
Okay. And you recognize that even just one person who's female that has XY chromosomes would break that necessary condition.
Yes, but then they wouldn't be female. So that's
What would
that's
they be?
not a valid point. They would
What would they
be,
be?
if they have XX chromosomes, then they would be female. If they have XY chromosomes, they'd be male. I think that's correct.
Okay. Can males give birth?
I didn't mix those up. Yeah, the males have XY. No, males cannot give birth. No.
Okay.
If they have XY
right.
chromosomes, I'm very certain. I mean, if you have an article that explains that somebody who does have XY chromosomes
Yep.
and does have a reproductive tract,
Absolutely.
gave birth.
It's a PubMed case study. It's called Pregnancy and Delivery in a Patient with Pure 46 XY Karyotype, Summary of Actual Knowledge about XY Women. It is somebody who had XY chromosomes, complete 46 karyotyping. They had Swyer syndrome, which gave them those XY chromosomes. They had a uterus, so they were able to be
would you mind
impregnated.
repeating that part? Swyer syndrome? How do you spell
Swyer syndrome, SWYER.
YER syndrome. They just did a.
So they had a uterus, but they were sterile. So because of the sterility, they just got donated oocytes or oocytes. I don't remember how you pronounce it. And because of this, they were able to maintain a pregnancy and successfully give birth. So, is this person a male or a female?
Okay, well, there's an important step there, right? They were donated something that they were lacking in order to give birth.
I'm sorry, they had a uterus. They were you didn't
Right.
say, I didn't ask you, can males get pregnant? I said, can they give birth? You said no. So is this person a male or a female?
Yeah, I get the semantics you're talking about there, but
Like, I wouldn't say. Would you say that?
donated.
Would you say that a female that needs donated eggs? Would you say that she's not female because she needed donated eggs? No, you wouldn't. So it's a weird
No, I
criteria to
wouldn't.
place in this instance when you don't place it in all instances.
Right. Well,
so I just want to
it's
know if
an
this
interesting
person is
point
male
you're
or female. If this person is male or female.
I would say that they're like, from a non-scientist standpoint, I would say they're intersex.
Well, intersex. It's fine. I can tell you, intersex is not a
They're
sex.
somewhere in between.
It is a list of conditions that's applied to the sexes. So they would still be one of the
Okay.
two sexes because humans are sexually dimorphic, a sexually dimorphic species. We have two sexes. They would be one of them. either male or female.
I'm so sorry. I thought that you said that there were more than two sexes. Did I get that
No,
incorrect?
humans are sexually dimorphic,
No.
so we have two sexes. I would put sex on a bimodal distribution model. You have two extreme ends, male and female, and then stuff can fall in between those extremes, but you still have that bimodal distribution, so you would still either be labeled male or female.
Okay, interesting. Now, okay, let me flip this a little bit because I thought about this earlier in our conversation.
Well, hold on. We can flip
so
it, but
we
first
were
I need you
talking
to tell
about
me whether
sex
this
and
is
gender, right?
Wait. Before we do that, I still need to know whether this person is male or female because we haven't finished with your.
No, I don't
critique
know.
yet.
I don't know that I'm educated enough to answer that question properly.
Okay, so just listen to me really quickly on this. Then listen to me really quickly on this. Okay, your entire stance here is that in order to be a woman, you have to be female, and in order to be female, you have to have XX chromosomes. It is the case that some females don't, which breaks your necessary condition for female, which breaks your necessary condition for women. If it's the case that your necessary condition,
I think it just broke the condition that men can't give birth. I think
it breaks your
right?
Wait, so you think that this person is a man?
Well, if we're based on the stance that I'm taking, if we're this is very new information to me, right? So based on the stance I just took, that you have to be, in order to be a female, you have to have XX chromosomes. In order to be a man, you have to have XY.
No,
well,
what you're wrong about. What you're wrong.
XY.
Okay, great. So let's get into the next one. What if a female has XO chromosomes? What are they? They wouldn't be a female, right? They'd be something different.
I'm not even aware of XO chromosomes.
Okay. Sorry. What about XXX?
The 23rd chromosome would be XX or XY, I thought.
No. So there are, I think we're up to 20 something different sex chromosome pairings. We have like 20 of them that we have found in biology.
Okay.
So you're saying that sex can only be XX or XY, but science would disagree with this. You could be XXY, you could be XO, you could be XXX. There's like a bunch of different ones. So like,
okay, well, all right. I get what you're getting at here. There's complications.
There's YO too.
So look, let me take this route with you. The definition of a woman and the definition of a man are pretty simple. The definition of a woman is an adult human female. And when you ask Google to define female, it says of or denoting the sex that can bear offspring or produce eggs, distinguished biologically by the production of gametes that can be fertilized by male gametes.
What does denoting mean?
So, what does denoting mean?
Yep.
Well, I know what it means in context. I don't know the definition. Hang on a second.
Well, what does it mean in context?
Well, to know what it means in context, to describe what it means in context requires a definition. So I don't think you're being smart there. Give me just a second. To be a sign of, indicate. That's what denote means.
So denoting something doesn't mean you are that thing. It just means you indicate or you're a sign of that thing.
Yes.
I would just say trans women denote it. They aren't the of part of your definition. They're the denoting part of your definition.
Right, but I think that's more of a false indication.
Based on what?
Well, if we're going to speak in generalities here, I would say generally a biological standard human male who desires to have a sex change, become a trans woman, is giving false indications that they are biologically a woman.
But you said in order to be a woman, you have to be female. In order to be female, you just have to be of or denoting that sex. So when you go, well, they can't denote it because they're this that's circular reasoning. When you say they can't denote it because they're quote unquote men, is circular reasoning. Because we're arguing whether they are men or women at all. You can't then point back to that thing to say, see, but they're actually this, right? When you're saying of or denoting in that definition, we know the of. The of would be if you do produce those things. The denoting would just be if you indicate or you refer to the thing that produces those things. So let's say I have a trans woman.
All right, I do see what you're saying.
Yeah, so then why can't trans women just be the denoting?
I would like to actually look up, just for the sake of everyone's contextual knowledge here when Oxford changed that definition, or did they? Because I'm curious because of the current
other
cultural
denoting
climate we
definition
live
have
in.
been there. It's been there forever, but I don't really care when it. Like I don't even need you to use Oxford's. I would use whatever definition you give me. I don't really care what definition you give me, whether it's your own, some definition you made up, or Oxford. Who cares? You know?
Okay. Yeah, well, it says November 2020. Okay.
I can tell you the other denoting definition has existed well before November of 2020 because I've used it before then.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Hang on, baby. I'm talking. Just a second. Okay. I'm sorry. My kids are in bed with me.
Totally fine.
So if I'm remembering correctly, topic number 3 is that trans men and women aren't men or women, or they are, or whatever, vice versa.
It's that they are, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I just went back to your Google stream thing, and it was or your YouTube
Hold
stream.
on one second.
And
I'm
it
going to put
started
you on hold
double
for 1 second.
speaking.
Hold on, I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm on child duty tonight, and child woke up crying, so I had to put child back to bed. Whew. Okay. Let's get back to the call. It's gonna be such an annoying call to edit because I gotta go and actually edit out the hold. Okay. Jack, are you still there?
I am still here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you mind if I brought this in a different direction? Because I think that you're right. Because I can't really debate you on the definitions. I don't think I'm educated enough on that specific topic really to get into the definitions. But I generally think it would be helpful for our society to have a general definition of man and women that transgender men and women don't really fit into. And I'm not trying to be exclusionary with that, but
Why?
I think
what would that do to help? What would that help specifically?
Well, I mean, I think it's obvious that it is helpful because we don't, even now, after all of this debate and, the years of this going on, we still call them trans men and trans women. We don't really say that man or that woman. We know that they're trans, and also it's kind of obvious.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question then. People will oftentimes call me a black man. Does that mean I'm not a man because they refer to me as black man?
No, but it is helpful to distinguish you from an Asian man or a Mexican man or a white man or other things. It's a helpful word.
Calling someone a trans man would only be helpful if I'm distinguishing or comparing them to a cisgender man. It's just an adjective. And adjectives are just adjectives are just.
Well, I mean,
that's
kind of the same argument though. Like if you had one black man in a population of 10,000 white men, it would still be helpful to distinguish that that's a black man.
Yes,
you're making the same kind of argument.
I agree. Adjectives are good when it comes to comparing or contrasting them. Like comparing or contrasting one thing to another. If I'm not doing that though, they serve no purpose. Like if I just have a trans woman who's just existing and I'm just talking to her, I wouldn't refer to her as trans woman. I would just refer to her as woman. But if I'm comparing or contrasting her to cis women for whatever reason I might be doing that, then there becomes a use in labeling. Other than that, there's no really, just like I would hope that no one would label me black man if they're just talking about me in general. I hope they would talk about me as just a man.
Well, but there is a genuine use for comparing and contrasting on a regular daily basis.
What is that use?
Well, for one, if you are, let's just be completely honest. A lot of trans people nowadays, men and women, are doing a very good job of, as you said, denoting, right, their preferred sexual orientation. So it would behoove people who are out drinking or people who are dating or on dating apps or whatever to identify themselves as a trans individual so that they do not deceive somebody who isn't looking for that.
What's the deception?
The deception is that if you go to have sex with a transgender woman, I think that's the correct phrasing, right? Like that would be a man who transitioned to a woman. Then that is not going to be the same experience, to put it nicely, as having sex with a woman.
What's going to be different about it?
Like that's what's going to be different for our brother. I'm pretty sure there's a lot that's different. I've read. I don't really want to get into gross details. Like I've read a lot of green text shit on 4chan that is nasty and disgusting in my view, and nasty and disgusting in my view. And other people maybe not.
We're using like 4chan as our sources now. What?
Come on. I think that's. I'm just from an anecdotal perspective. I think it's fine to get anecdotes from just about anywhere.
I'm not asking you about an anecdote. I'm asking you like what specifically is different if I were to have sex with if I were to have sex with a trans woman versus a cis woman, what is different? What's the actual functional difference here?
Their anatomy.
What if they have a vagina?
The fact that I can't.
Jack, what if they have a vagina?
Okay, but it's a manufactured vagina, and I guarantee, without having any experience with this, I guarantee that they are different. Fundamentally.
I mean, I've talked to men that have had sex.
Like
with,
I just know that.
Jack. Talk to men who've had sex with post-op trans women, and they said that they can tell no difference. But I want to
I'd
ask
say
you a
that you
question.
are
Hold on, I
speaking
want to
to
ask you a
liars.
question.
Like, how is that
Wait. Let me ask you a
possible?
question, Jeff. Let me ask you a question, Jack. If
Yeah.
I have a cisgender woman who's born with vaginal agenesis, so she does not have a vagina, and the doctors have to give her one when she's born because, you know, she needs a vagina.
It would be
Is
in
that
the same
manufactured?
frame. It would be helpful for her to distinguish that to somebody that she's going to be romantically involved with.
So this
I think that would be
cisgender
helpful
woman
for
would
her
have
to
to, on her
distinguish
like
that, wouldn't
Tinder
you?
profile, be like, "Hey guys, I have a doctor-given vagina."
I'm not saying life is easy or fair, dude.
What sense
So
does this
yeah,
make, Jack? This makes
like
no sense.
because what you're doing is an argument to absurdism, where somebody who had or is a cisgender female but was born without a vagina
This
was
isn't an
given
argu-
one,
this isn't an
has to
argument-
put that on
this
their
isn't
Tinder
an
profile.
argument
That
to
is
absurdism.
absurd. It is tragic, but I
Wait,
would
this
say
isn't-
technically
this isn't-
that would
Jack.
maybe not put it on their Tinder profile, but maybe mention that to the person who's engaging with them
Why?
because it's important.
Wait, hold on, Jack. Let me ask you something. Have you ever fucked somebody with a quote unquote manufactured vagina?
No.
So how do you know it feels different?
I don't think I really need to know that it feels sort of like buying the aspirin thing, isn't it? Like I can sort of read the label that says ibuprofen
I
and
don't think
stay
you
away
can,
from it because
Jack.
I'm
I don't think
allergic
you
to
can.
ibuprofen.
Jack,
That
I
makes
fully
sense?
don't. Jack,
Yeah.
I fully don't think you can.
I think you can. I think
No,
it's
I'm
pretty
sorry.
obvious.
I'm sorry,
that
my
it's
guy,
gonna
but
be a
I don't
different
operate.
experience.
I don't operate under feelings here. It's just lazy debating. If you want the
You can
empirical
call it what you
evidence,
want.
if you want empirical evidence, you know what you have to go do. But otherwise, you're just operating off your fifis.
I do not want empirical evidence. I think I'm good on the.
So then
I'll
you're just,
operate
you're
on
just operating
feeling
off your
on this one.
fifis. Yeah, it's just fifis. But yeah,
Well, you know that's
I don't
fair,
do
but I
fifis here, so-
genuinely think that it's
catch you later. I don't do fifis here. It's just not a way I argue. I don't argue off of fifis, dog. Shout out to who was that? That was Brick. Shout out to Brick on YouTube for paying to boot that guest. Sorry, I don't do fifis, Jack. We ain't out here with our feelings right now. Did it just start raining? Holy shit, it sure did. Yo, tonight is weird. Someone said, then why do straight men put their dicks in assholes? And that's such a goated response. I wish I had thought of it. Holy shit. That's true. We'll put our dicks in anything. What is this? Yo. By the way, I like how I said I've talked to people who are in relationships with trans women who've been open and said that it feels generally the same as when they're in relationships with cis women. And he goes, well, you can't really use that. But he wanted to use 4chan. Are we fucking kidding me? is a source as well. Let's get to the next caller. I don't know why I keep turning the music back on in between calls when, you know. By the way, Twitch, we gonna get a. You guys want a giveaway today or no? You gotta hit that live goal. YouTube's almost hitting their live goal. YouTube said we smoking them. I don't even know if I'll end up uploading that last goal. But the 4chan thing was solid. Next up, we have Andrew. Andrew also wants to talk about trans men and women, apparently. Andrew, if you can hear me, please provide me your age and pronouns.
I'm 37 and I use standard male pronouns, so he, him.
Okay. Now, Andrew,
Yeah,
you
and I
don't believe.
also wanted to say that
Oh,
I'm happy to delve into any of the other topics as well. They made me pick one, but if we branch out, that's fine with me.
sure. Andrew, you don't believe trans men and women are men and women. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you believe gender and sex are the same thing?
I think that people have chosen in recent times to define these as two different things, and so I can recognize that they have different definitions. One of them is more of a biological concept, one of them is more of a social concept. But to me, these two things are basically completely overlapping, right? And so even though when we talk about gender, we're talking about the more social aspects of sex, right? But all of those social systems are built on top of the biological reality of sex, right? And so that's why I use the pronouns that correspond with people's sex rather than any self-identification.
Okay. Just so that I have an understanding here, do you believe that anyone that is female would be a woman? Any female would be a woman?
If they're an adult, yes.
Okay. Any adult female on the planet, they're a woman.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming any adult male would be a man.
Correct.
How do you square that with the fact that other species have sex?
So typically when we're talking about in this conversation, we're talking about humans, right?
Yeah, but we're having a conversation. Hold on. We're having a conversation about whether sex and gender are the same. Humans aren't the only thing with sex. So if we're going to say there's massive overlap and there's a complete overlap on these two terms, right? And that just sex and gender are overlapping and and based on what you said, they're essentially the same thing. That doesn't just mean human. If
Right.
you're saying no, gender is specific to humans, then by nature, sex and gender are not the same thing.
Right. So let me clarify my definition. A woman is an adult human female, and a man is an adult male human.
Okay, so gender and sex are not the same because there's a qualifier that in order to be a specific gender, you would need to be an adult and you would need to be a human.
Right, which is what I said originally about being an adult.
No, I know. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Right.
Gender and sex are not the same thing. Do you believe gender and sex have a link, like a linking to each other?
Yeah, I do. I think that like a shorthand would be that gender refers to the collection of like social consequences of sex.
I don't just mean
right,
I don't just mean though, Andrew. I don't just mean like do the words link up. I'm asking if sex, the biological thing, has an actual link with gender, the social thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that I'm answering that question, which is that sex is real, right? And then your sex dictates a lot about like your role in society, how people perceive and relate to you, how you perceive and relate to others, right? So like all of those experiences are what we refer to as gender and gender identity, whereas the biological reality would be the sex.
Great. So then why is it that trans women...
they are linked.
So why is it that trans women cannot be women if that is the case?
Because from the very inception of their lives, they have been men, right? They are men. I don't think that their experiences, the way that they relate to others, the way that others relate to them, is really similar almost at all.
Wait, if I had a trans woman who was raised as a girl from birth until whatever, then they would be a woman.
No, but again, like I think that this is inextricable from their sex.
Well, we've agreed that it's not inextricable from their sex. So which one is it?
No, you've just said that. We have not established that.
Okay, great. So your gender and your sex are 100% linked.
Yes.
Okay, there's zero overlap. So it has nothing to do with how somebody is raised. Because you said when I said, how is it that trans women can't be women? You said, well, they're not raised as women. So it actually has nothing to do with
I mean, that's one of many, many reasons, right? It's like when we're talking about
complex, but it's not the reason because when I pointed out that there was a very clear logical break here, you switched and said, well, it doesn't matter about how you're raised. It matters about what your sex is. So that wasn't the reason at all.
I think I said from the very beginning that it matters what your sex is. And what I said was that your sex, to a large extent, dictates a lot of these social things. One of them is how you're raised, but it's not like the only thing that matters.
Okay, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a comprehensive definition for what a woman is?
An adult human female.
And what's a female?
So sex is primarily determined by gamete production, right? So belonging to the sex that produces the larger, slower gametes.
Belonging to the sex that produces the gametes. So then
Correct.
gametes aren't what determine the sex. Gametes are produced by the sex. So what determines the sex?
I mean, so it's a polythetic classification. So there's not one sufficient or necessary condition. It's a collection of traits, right? And but the most important is gamete production.
Wait.
Right? So if you produce,
hold on. I love this. There is no necessary condition to be female. I agree. It's a collection of things. It's cluster categorization. I agree with that. Love that. So if there is no necessary condition to be a female, how can female be necessary to be woman?
Very easily. Those are two different definitions. I'm not seeing the contradiction.
I'm not asking about the definition now. I'm asking about the condition, the trait.
Right, but when we're talking about necessary conditions, we're talking about who is or is not a member of the group, which necessarily is about that definition. It's true.
Yep. Who? Okay, so how can I become a part of the female group? What do I need?
You need to be born female.
So that's a circle.
So you recognize that we are a sexually dimorphic species. I heard you with the last guy, so I'm not trying to rehash a lot of it. We have evolved two sexes.
Andrew, I need an actual answer to the question I just asked you. I said, what is necessary to be female? You said to be female.
That's right, but it's a polythetic classification, right? So there's primary and secondary sex characteristics, there's hormonal things, there's genetics.
Yep, I agree.
All of this
what of those? Great. So then if that's the case, what percentage of those do I need to be classified as a woman? Or female, sorry. What percentage of those do I need?
I don't know if I have that off the top of my head.
Okay.
I don't think that this.
Let's go through.
Are you acting like it's really, really hard to do this?
Well,
to classify people as male and female? I think that we know what we're talking about.
Right now, we're doing an internal critique. What I believe doesn't matter. This is a critique on your claim. Okay. So we know when we classify sex, chromosomes, hormones, internal, external genitalia, gonads. If I have hormones production, that would signify female, but none of the rest. Am I female?
No, right? Because what I would say is the most important one is the gametes, right? If you are producing the larger gamete, then I would actually say that is a sufficient condition, right? And these are mutually exclusive categories. So if you're producing eggs, right, you're female, period, right? If you're producing sperm, viable sperm, you're male, period, right? And everything else is somewhat secondary to that. But obviously there are people who don't produce gametes.
Andrew, you're kind of trying to mix. You're trying to mix a necessary condition with a bunch of sufficient conditions. So it's I
don't think I am.
You absolutely are.
How so?
What if a woman doesn't have gametes? Well, she doesn't produce gametes at all. What is she?
Right. So this is why I said that this is a sufficient condition. And as I was saying, right, when you interrupted me, but there are women who don't produce eggs, right? But they're still women.
Based on what?
What was that?
Based on what?
Based on what? That they don't produce gametes?
Yeah, so what makes them women?
Oh, that they belong to the sex that creates gametes.
However,
right? So in their essence, they are of the sex that can create those gametes.
All sexes create gametes.
So I said those gametes, right? So the larger, slower ones.
Great. So if they are of the sex that produce that, are we saying that gametes are a sex determinant trait? Are gametes determined by your sex?
I mean, do you mean are you sex determined by your gametes?
Yeah, is your sex determined by your gametes or vice versa?
I would say that the gametes are a sufficient condition, right? So if you have the sex-specific
That's not the question I asked
gamete, that is sufficient, right? But it's not necessary.
I'm not asking
right
now I'm not asking about necessary conditions. Right now I'm not asking about necessary conditions. I'm asking, is this a sex determinant trait or a trait determined by your sex?
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be dense, but I don't understand that question.
Okay. What trait decides whether or not you're going to produce large or small gametes?
I mean, your genes, primarily.
Which gene?
Excuse me?
Which gene?
I I'm not sure.
Okay. So when it comes to gametes, right, they would be determined by whether or not you essentially have an activated SRY gene, because the SRY gene is going to determine which sex traits you develop. So gametes just come about after your sex has already been decided. So how can we use
Correct.
gametes as a determinant trait, which is what you're using it as, when gametes are determined by the sex?
So when you say that gametes are determined by the sex, that is like kind of a nonsensical statement to me, right? So sex is a category that we impose on like our sexual dimorphism, right? So we call the types of humans who create larger, smaller gametes women, and the type of human who creates the smaller, faster gametes men, right? I don't think that anything could be caused by, it's like you being male or female isn't causing anything else. It's just a category.
You being male or female is not a cat. I'm sorry, say that part one more time.
Well, this is like when I've heard people like, it's like when we're talking about racial topics, be like, well, are you saying that they commit crimes because they're black? Or it's like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what do you mean because they're black? That's a social category. But nothing is going to be because they're black.
How does this analogy
right? It's like
track?
you're saying, well, because you seem to be positing that there's some sort of
well, because the
causal link.
wait,
between-
because there is a causal link between the SRY gene and your gamete production. There's 100% a causal link
So-
between that.
Between those things, sure, right?
Yes.
But that like you just asked me is like, because in time your gamete, like you don't start to produce gametes
What
until
comes
you're
first,
sexually
the sex
mature,
or-
obviously.
Wait, but hold on. Your sex predates your gametes. Do you
Sure,
agree with this or no?
like that? I do, but I don't think that that's like, it's like this is what I was saying. So it's like I don't think that means what you think it means.
Well, I think it means that gametes are not a sex determinant trait.
Why would that matter? Why would the timing of it matter?
Because I'm asking what determines the other. I'm not asking if gametes.
Right, but-
Hold on. I'm not asking if gametes determine our classification on sex. I'm asking if gametes decide your sex as a biological function, or if your sex decides your gametes as a biological function.
What does that mean? If your sex decides your gametes?
Does the gene that decides your sex create your gametes, or vice versa? Do your gametes create your
So what
sex
I would say
genes?
is that there are a whole bunch of different genes that are associated with either sex, and that some of those genes are responsible for gamete production.
Which gene needs to activate in order for you to develop male gametes?
I mean, I don't know the exact gene. What does this have to do with trans people?
Is that a joke?
No, it's not a joke at all. It's like whether or not I'm aware of the specific gene is like totally irrelevant.
Okay. Let me just reconfirm. You do not believe that it is necessary for you to have any one trait to be a female, correct?
Correct.
You believe that what is instead necessary is that you have one of a list of traits.
Correct. Or more than one, but yes.
Which one is, so you still have a necessary condition. And what is that necessary condition?
No, there is no necessary. So what? There is no.
If there's no necessary
there's no
condition,
one
then anyone
necessary
can fit into the
condition.
category. Can fit into the category.
No, that's the entire idea of a polythetic classification. Is that there could be, there might not be any one or even multiple genes or traits that are necessary to become a member of the group, but that just like the collection of traits and how they co-vary between groups is enough for the classification.
I understand.
to still make sense.
I understand about cluster. It's a type of cluster classification. I get that, but that's not it. You can't exclude using this.
I can't exclude you using what?
When you use polythetic classification, how can you make an exclusionary category?
I mean, I can just define them as exclusionary, right? So
How?
if you meet if you meet the criteria for one category, that you're not in the other category, right? So if you are deemed to be female, you are not male.
Wait, okay. I don't think you're listening. what is the boundary line here? What is the thing that's excluded?
What is the thing that is excluded? I have no idea what you're talking about.
So if I have a category and I say that there are things excluded from this category, so let's say the category is female. There are certain things you cannot possess to be female. There are things that are excluded. If you have these, you don't meet the categorization of female. What would those things be?
So I would say production of viable sperm is an exclusionary trait.
So the only thing that makes you not a female is if you produce sperm.
On its own, yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Why must you be female in order to be a woman?
Why must you be female to be a woman? I guess what I would say is that was the definition for all time until very recently.
Sure.
And so I would argue that that's just what that term means, right? So for all of time, that word meant that.
Are definitions prescriptive or descriptive?
Descriptive.
Okay, so what do I care what the definition has always been? It's just describing how we tend to use the definition.
But that's how I use the term, right? So it's like I think that people have tried to blur the lines a little bit, but using things like self-ID. But I'm not required to accept that, right? And I haven't ever heard a convincing argument for why I should.
Well, wait, I'm not asking about. I'm asking you, why should we never change the definition? We change definitions all the time. I don't really you're saying because it's always been this way, it must always be this way.
No, what I'm saying is that as the party who is seeking to change the definition, you should probably be convincing me than asking me why I want it to stay the way that it's been. But if you're asking me why I would want that, is that because I think that male and female is a valuable social category. It's helpful to know whether or not you're dealing with someone of the same or opposite sex.
We already have, wait. Right. We are male and female wouldn't disappear as the categories. So I don't understand what that has to do with anything. The category of male and female would still exist.
Right, but when most people are using he and she pronouns, they are referring to the person's sex, right? At least in 99% of the time.
Hold on. That's not what I'm asking you, right? I'm not asking you about what people use. I'm saying, why don't we change it? If you're saying we shouldn't change it just because most people do it this way, most people lived by candlelight, and then we made light bulbs, right?
Right. So I'm not using an appeal to the majority. What I'm saying is that when we're talking about something like language, it's a utility-driven exercise, right? Like, are we conveying and interpreting information accurately, right? And so when we're talking about language, it does matter what other people mean when they use the
definition. We would be conveying information accurately because the definition will have been changed.
Right, but I don't want to. So it's like socially, I don't treat trans identified men as women, right? And I'm not going to participate in that delusion.
Why not?
Because they're not. Because they're men.
So wait, we're back to a circular thing here. This is just a circular. I don't treat them this way because the definition says that they're men. Why can't we change the definition? Because I don't treat them this way because it says that they're men. This is just circles, my guy.
But how about you persuade me? How about you?
No. How about you answer what I'm asking you? How about you answer inclusion? Inclusion is utility. Inclusion. I think if you have something that creates a maximal good in people and it has more people happy, why wouldn't we do that?
I mean, I'm not convinced that is the case here. Do you think that there's social utility to distinguishing between men and women?
I think there's social utility to distinguish between males and females. I think there's some social utility to distinguishing between men and women, but men and women would still be distinguished in this case. So I don't know what you're asking that question for. I'm still distinguishing men and women.
To me, it makes a lot of sense that like when we're talking about things like pronouns, which is when this topic usually comes up, right? For me, I like to know whether I'm speaking to or about a male or a female.
Wait, again, hold on. Somebody would still be male or female in this instance, so it has nothing I don't know. Like again, I'm not talking about
right, but I would want to know whether or not they're male or female. So I would prefer for people who look like with a penis to be referred to as a man.
Stop, Andrew, stop. If we're talking, what my question to you is, why not just separate women, like gender from sex, when we're using these terms, and you go, well, because when I'm talking to someone, I want to know if they're a male or a female. Why?
Because I treat men and women differently.
Why?
Because men and women are different.
What difference do they need to be, how do they need to be treated differently? In what regard?
Well, I mean, there's the very obvious ones in terms of looking for sexual or romantic partners. Generally, people are attracted to a sex, not a gender.
I would disagree with that 100%.
Whether or not that person is that
I disagree with that 100%. That's just nonsense to say.
It's nonsense?
Yes.
It's nonsense that people generally, their sexuality is dictated by their partner's sex. You're going to stand by that?
Yes. I think sex is. I think your attraction to
I'm
somebody.
not going to speak for you, dog. It's like
Andrew. I think your attraction, absolutely, when you're initially attracted to someone, goes to social phenotypic differences. It does not go to sexual ones.
Right. Maybe when you're first attracted to someone.
Okay, great.
But
So hold on, Andrew. Here we go again. Your statement to me was, I need to know how to address someone when I first start talking to them, because what if I'm like, that would be your initial attraction, Andrew. You can then ask further questions if you need to. Let me ask you a question. Are you attracted to women who, for instance, might have a flat chest and a flat ass? Are you attracted to those women?
To women with a flat chest? I mean,
yeah. Have you ever been
married,
attracted?
right?
Have you ever been attracted to a woman with a flat chest and a flat ass?
I mean, I feel like that's somewhat degrading language, but sure, yeah.
Oh my God, please don't try to fucking virtue signal now.
I'm not virtue signaling. It's just like a weird way to put it.
Sure, I'll phrase it differently. A woman with no boobs or no butt.
I mean, yeah, like some women are more curvy than others, and I've been attracted to both types.
Okay, great. So when you look at somebody who has, like, for instance, let's say no boobs, no butt, great. What's your signifier that they're female? What thing is signifying you that they're female and you should be attracted to them?
I mean, it's the totality of the circumstances. It's very easy to determine
what's the totality. What's the totality? Please stop dancing around it.
Their voice, their facial structure, their the way that they move. Like there's like a
great. Let's say I have somebody with all of this. Let's say I have somebody with all of this, right? But they're male. How do you know you're not attracted to them?
Because I know that they're male.
How do you know they're male?
So in this case, I would assume that at some point I would discover that they were male, at which point I would no longer be attracted to them.
Wait. We're talking about the way you would treat them in the world, right? So you're going to treat them differently based on a private information that you'd find out later? You're going to treat them initially differently based on something you don't know yet?
No, but when I find out that information, I would treat them differently.
Based on something you don't know?
I said when I find that information out later, yes, I would treat them differently.
Okay, so then, wait.
I feel like you're pretending to not understand this.
Jesus Christ, Andrew, your initial meeting with them, you wouldn't treat them differently then?
Not based on something that I didn't know, correct.
Great. So your entire reason for the reason why trans women shouldn't be women is because I'm not attracted to them, so they shouldn't be classified as women.
That was not the entire... When did I say that was the entire reason?
You said, okay, so what other ways are you treating them differently in social interactions? So far, it's only been about your attraction to them.
No, I treat men and women differently.
What are the ways?
All interactions.
What are the ways?
The way I speak to them, the way, like, the jokes that I make around them, literally everything.
How do you speak to men differently than women?
I'm probably a little bit more coarse, a little bit meaner to men than I am to women.
Why?
Because they're women. And I think that part of being a gentleman is treating women with a certain degree of respect, whether or not I'm fucking them.
You don't treat men with respect?
Not in the same way, no.
What's different about it? You said you're coarser to men, you're meaner to men. How is that respect if you're being meaner to them?
I'm saying I respect women more than I respect men in terms of how I treat them. That's just how I was raised.
You were raised to be misogynist?
I wouldn't consider it misogynist.
I would. I think most people.
That's your opinion.
I think most people hearing this would consider it to be misogyny. You're saying that you specifically go out of your way to treat women differently because why? Because to you, being a gentleman is treating women with what? Kitty gloves? Women can't handle coarse
Essentially,
language,
yeah.
so you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so in order
Yeah, I
to
think kitty
in
gloves
order
is a good way of putting it. Yeah.
in order to treat women, what you feel better is you have to treat women with kid gloves, and you don't
No,
see.
I just think it's the right thing to do. I think
You
it's
don't
like
see the misogyny
I
in
think
that?
that like men who,
Yes,
yeah,
you think we
it-
ought.
it's
You
a
think
good
men
thing to do.
ought treat. You think men ought treat women with kid gloves.
Yes, I do.
So you think infantilization is what we ought do with women?
I mean, like you're referring to it as infantilization, but I think that like
what are the ways
you
I refer
understand
to
what I'm
it?
saying.
If you're
There's
treating them with
a
kitty gloves, what are the ways?
there's a certain like there's a coarseness or a crassness that men engage in when women aren't around.
I don't speak to men I don't know in
Are you
crash.
denying 10%?
I don't speak to men I don't know in crash. I don't even speak to most men I do know in crass ways when I'm with them. Why would I?
Well, that's good for you. I'm not saying that you should.
The crass ways you speak to men, what is it about? What do you talk to them about?
It could be anything.
Such as?
I don't know. Farting. Like it could be a whole bunch of things.
One of my best friends is a woman. She farts in front of me all the time.
I don't care.
So you think women can't handle fart talk? Is that what it is?
No, I think that I think that to me, it makes a lot of sense to organize society
God damn,
with
can
like
you just
full
answer the
awareness
questions?
of sexual
I don't need all of that. Do you think women can't handle fart talk?
I mean, I think that they can in certain circumstances, but I think that generally farting in front of a woman is not an appropriate thing to do.
Why?
It's just not appropriate.
Why?
I think that it's good to live in a society where men take care of women and value women.
You're not answering
and one
the
of the
question.
ways that they do that is by showing respect.
Why is it disrespectful to talk about farts with a woman? You keep saying, I think we should do this. And when I ask you the why, you go, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know.
That's a great reason for why we should structure society, because I don't know. It's such a great.
Well, I feel like on some level you're pretending to not understand the points that I'm making.
No. It's not on some level. I know what these points are. I disagree with them fundamentally because people like you, when you bring these stuff up, Andrew, I'm talking.
Like also,
Andrew,
like in terms of like our sexual development or our evolutionary development.
Andrew, I'm talking. Thanks. I hear people bring these points up all the time. You go, well, I can be a bit more crass when I talk with my male friends, and we know that what you're actually doing with your male friends is you're fucking sexualizing women. You're talking about your sexcapades. And now you're going to sit here and go, well, hey, look, man, I think, yeah, I'm sure. And then you go, hey, look, I think that we should treat women with kid gloves. I think that women shouldn't, we definitely should not fart and talk about farts around women. Why shouldn't we do that, Andrew? I don't fucking know. I think it makes you more chauvinistic. How? I don't fucking know.
Well,
Sounds a little bit like an indoctrination here, Andrew.
Yeah, it probably is chauvinistic. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Why not?
I also think that just like chauvinistic in terms of
bad? What are you talking about? What is chauvinism?
I mean, kind of the attitude that I'm describing right now.
The attitude I'm describing right now. Can you give me an actual definition for chauvinism? God damn.
I think that it's like I mean, I don't know if I have the definition just like right off the top of my head. An
excessive, irrational loyalty or belief in the superiority of one's own group. Thank you for agreeing chauvinism is a good thing, I guess. Bye. I treat women differently in society because I'm a piece of shit, and therefore we shouldn't let trans women be women. Dumb. Super dumb. Shout out to Fake Gaming Nerd for the pay to boot on YouTube. Just so dumb. Fuck, dude. Hey guys, why should we treat women different? Because chauvinism. Dude, it's so dumb. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, and just hear me out here. Maybe, hear me out, guys. Maybe we shouldn't treat men and women differently, especially socially, because what has happened from this has bred a system of patriarchy and misogyny. Hence, from the guy who just said all that he just said. Oh my God. I'm starving. I have not eaten dinner and I'm still going. Have you ever considered chauvinism though, bro? Have you ever considered being a chauvinist? Goddamn. I just hate because I ask people this all the time. I'm like, what would be the issue with just changing the definition of gender? Just expanding that. And it always turns into, because I feel it would be bad. I feel my fifis would hurt. Why can't trans women be women? Because I'm not attracted to trans women, so they can't be women. Rachel, what? I treat men and women differently. Here's how I treat people differently. I treat you differently if I know you versus if I don't know you. I treat all men and women in public generally the same. The only thing that will be different is I'm a little more wary around women in public. And I recognize that is due to like the systemic nature of like men women, you know? Like, so I will be more cautious. I'll make sure I'm not like I try not to do things that come off as like, oh my God, but that's like not because of, that's because of like, you know, socialization and shit, which can all be changed. Anyway, let's bring up the next person. Oh my God, why? Okay. Coming up next, we have Alex, who wants to tell me that Trump got society to start being more homogenous, I guess, because that's what we want. Alex, if you can hear me, please provide me your age and pronouns.
I'm 38. I'll play your game. I'm he.
I mean, if you don't have to play my game, if you're not he, I'll call you something else. She?
I'm
they,
he, him. Sure.
it.
I'm he, him.
Alex, I don't want to force you into anything. I will use any pronouns you want, dog.
No, I'm literally telling you, he, him.
Okay, well, you said I'll play your game, so I figured I was forcing you.
It is a game.
I'm not Jigsaw here. You can use whatever pronouns you want to use.
Sure, he, him.
Okay, beautiful. God. Now, Alex, you think that society at large should be more homogenous. Is that correct?
Oh, don't think. I know.
When you say the word homogenous, what do you mean?
Like racially homogenous.
Oh, you're racist. Got it.
Yes. And that's not a good or a bad thing. It just is.
No, it's a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It's
you want to change definitions, so
do you
I.
Do you believe white people are superior to black people?
No.
No, you just think they shouldn't intermingle.
To the point in which we are now. That's
Why?
correct. Okay. Let's go back to the last two
I don't
callers.
give a shit.
There's this great.
Fuck off. I'm going to talk to your fucking Nazi ass. Eat my ass. You thought. The fuck out of here. Look at him trying to call back. No thanks. Bye. Get the fuck out of here. I think races shouldn't intermingle. I don't give a fuck. Racism's not wrong, guys. I think there should be separate classes of people, but racism is not wrong. Get the fuck out of here. Eat ass, dog. Just gonna drop you again, bro. Every time you try to call in, I'm just gonna drop you. I'm not talking to your racist ass. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking ugly ass. Yo, ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no motherfucking way. Yo, Day Jovan might have talked to him. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Day Jovan might have spoken to him. After Dark Jovan, eat my ass. Jovan, we got disconnected. Anyway, let me tell you about how white people and black people shouldn't be together. I couldn't wait to see how that conversation went, dude. Let's find out why black people and white people shouldn't be together in the way they are. Definitely wasn't going to go anywhere about white people not needing black people. Fucking A. Okay. Oh my God, this again, dude. Okay. Next up, we have Liz. Liz wants to talk about gender and sex. Liz doesn't think trans men and women are men and women. Liz, if you can hear me, provide me your age and pronouns, please.
Yeah, age 46, she, her. How's it going?
Chillin'. Now, Liz, you think
Real
gender...
quick, last caller, fucking wild. Fucking wild. Good thing dropping him. Go ahead, sir.
I agree. You, just confirming, you think gender is strictly biological?
No, I have a different take on it. Gender, it depends on where I'm applying it. So gender to me is one's self-sex perception, which is informed, of course, by our actual biological sex.
So then it's not a perception of our sex, it's just the sex. What if somebody has a different... What if somebody's self-perception of their sex is opposite what their sex is?
Then yes, that's what we term a transgender or transsexual individual.
But then they would be a woman.
They would be a woman in their own perception, but because we live in a biological reality, they are not. Because the term man and woman,
this doesn't make sense.
Callers, it does make sense because it's the language we use to term the male and the female is the English term man and woman.
Why can't we just change
this is
the
why
language?
you can't. This is why you can't apply. It cannot apply to them. We can apply trans man, trans woman. Sure.
Why can't we just change the language?
Because it's not then anchored into the biological reality.
That didn't answer my question. I said, why can't we just change the language so that it doesn't have to be anchored in the biological reality?
That's what language does. It's an attempt with our language is an attempt to explain the reality around us.
No,
so changing
that's not
it.
True. Wait, we have tons of language that literally only exists to describe a subjective perception that we have internally. So why can't we just have it be that?
That's still the reality that we live in.
It's not
something
a biological
abstract,
one.
Something more concrete.
It's not a biological one, though. You said language is rooted in the biology. I'm saying we have tons of language that's not rooted in any biology. So why can't this just be one of those terms?
Because the thing we're talking about is rooted in biology. You can't just
wait. I'm not hold on. Okay. So let's analyze this for a second. In order to be, when it comes to gender, your gender is determined by your subjective perception of your sex. This is what you said to me at the start of the call.
Correct.
And you said that subjective perception is always going to be tied to what the sex is. Then you said, except for people that are trans, theirs isn't. So by the sheer case of us having people that exist whose subjective perception of their sex differs and disaligns with what their sex actually is, that means the definition you've been rolling with has been wrong this whole time. Because it is treating it as if everybody's is tied directly and aligned when we know that not to be the case. So if we know that we've been wrong, why wouldn't we update the definition?
Well, we're not wrong because biologically they are not that sex that they perceive themselves as.
I'm not
talking
about
in a
sex.
biological world.
I'm not asking you about sex. I'm asking you about gender. And you said gender isn't the sex, it's the perception of the sex.
Correct, but that's subjective. Again,
Yep,
what's
we have
more
tons of
objective-
definitions. We have tons of definitions that refer to subjective things. Why can this not be one of them?
because the reality is the biology, and you can't decouple that because
But I'm not.
we use
What do
language
you
for
mean?
other things.
It wouldn't be decoupling the biology. It would be talking about
It is.
It would no, it wouldn't. It'd be talking about how the fact that when it comes to your gender, you can either align or disalign, and you would still be that gender category based on an alignment or a disalignment with your sex.
That's subjectively. Objectively, they
Doesn't
are male
matter.
or female.
I'm not talking about whether they're male or female.
I am. This is where the biology comes in.
But I'm not. The
Because-
point on the board doesn't say are trans males, females, and trans females. No, it says are that trans men and women are men and women. I'm not talking about male and female.
It's a continuum, though. It's not something we can pick apart.
It's not. Do you agree that gender and sex are two different things?
I think they heavily overlap. So they're not fully.
That's fine that they overlap. Tons of things overlap. Cars would overlap with motorcycles, but they're not motorcycles, right?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Great. So gender and sex are two different things. We understand this. There might be a linking between them, but they're different. They are two different concepts that talk about two different things.
Yeah, I think that's more of a newer concept, but I can see why it would be because
I don't think it's
the
newer when we look at the way
transsexual
that people have interacted with each other throughout all of history. I don't think it's newer at all.
I think the separation of the two, yes. I mean, I've got screenshots of old dictionaries. Yes.
Wait, I don't deny that the words. I don't deny that the words in dictionaries were synonymous.
Right.
I'm saying the way we engaged in society, 100% wasn't.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we don't look at sex to determine who goes into a bathroom. We look at your phenotypic gender expression, and we have always done this.
Right, which is technically your sex.
No, your phenotypic gender expression is not your sex.
It is your physical sex. Yes, it is your secondary sex characteristics.
No.
I don't know. How are you saying it's not?
Your gender expression?
No, not gender expression. You said phenotypical gender expression. What do you mean by that?
Gender expression just means the physical way you present your gender.
Meaning your body, not the clothes you wear, right?
No. What do you think the word phenotype means?
It means everything but your genotype.
No.
Yes.
The word phenotype in general, what does that word mean?
It means everything besides your genotype. What do you think it means? Or what do you have you understood it as?
Phenotype is just a list of is observable characteristics of a thing. Just observable traits.
Okay. When we're talking about humans, what are we observing?
Anything. I didn't ask about humans. I just said, what is the definition of phenotype? And it would depend.
Well, we're talking about humans.
Depend. If somebody was like, hey, Jovan, what's a phenotype for like boy bands? I would be like, I would list off a list of traits that have to do with boy bands that are observable. Phenotype just means observable traits. Now, you do have phenotypic and genotypic sexual traits, but that doesn't mean that...
That's what we're talking about. But let's stay on track. If we're talking about humans and the point at hand, the phenotype of a human is our sex traits, right?
What did I do to deserve this? If I put a dress on, have I now added, like, is there a phenotype with that?
No.
Yes.
Biologically, no.
Phenotype doesn't.
I am using it to me, the term phenotype is really a biological term. That you want to use it broadly, I guess, but then that makes it more complex.
Sure. Can your biological phenotyping be changed in sex, like sex-wise?
Within reason, yeah.
Okay, so your sexual phenotype can be changed.
Within reason, only really.
What is the reason?
Really, only the outside, if you will. Structurally, on the inside, not so much.
Who determines? Why would the inside matter if we're talking about phenotype? It's observable traits.
Because
I can observe somebody's inside.
Phenotype, again, biologically speaking, a phenotype is everything that is not the genotype. So we're talking about bone structure, fat distribution, the way everything of you develops down the developmental pathway. That's what that is.
Okay. Let's start from the beginning here, just so that I'm going to write this down so that I understand what we're saying, what's being said here. So my question again is, why can we not change the definition of woman to include trans women?
Because historically and socially, the term man and woman has linked back to a male and a female. And we have a word, trans men and trans women. Why not just stay with that?
Great. Let me ask you a question. Historically, what is the word gay linked back to?
I don't know.
It's linked back to like a feeling of joy or happiness.
Okay, sure.
Have we changed the definition of gay, even though historically that's what it's always linked back to?
Yeah, but that hasn't changed anything materially.
It's a definition. They wouldn't change anything materially. They're definitions.
Correct. That's the
So
point.
your reason that we can't change it, though, is because of the historical use of the term.
Well, it's everyone's understanding of what that word means.
So why can't we change people's understanding?
Because it doesn't actually correlate to the reality of the trans man.
Doesn't matter what the hold on. That doesn't matter because you're saying the only reason that we can't change the definition is because of historical and social use of the term.
No, not historically. I only use that in the sense that people.
What I'm going to do, just really quickly, so you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a big line through the question I asked you, which was why can we not change the definition? You've now changed, so it has nothing to do with historical things at all. So I'm going to ask the question again.
Well, no, that's an
why
aspect,
can we not change the definition of woman to include trans women?
Because it's not objectively, what's it called? Concrete. It's not. It doesn't
not
speak to the
objectively
reality.
concrete. So the only definitions we can have that exist are definitions that speak to objective things.
Well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. It doesn't.
Sure.
Or doesn't indicate or define or convey what's objectively true.
Okay.
That's why.
It would. Wait. Okay. What is objective true? What is a woman?
A woman is a adult female human.
Okay.
As
what is gender again? What is gender again?
To me, gender is one's self-sex perception. Other people use it differently. Sure, I don't know.
Okay.
Me, I'm always
hold on.
Going back to the person.
Is woman a gender category?
It is grammatically speaking, it is a gendered category.
Great. So, woman is a gender category. Gender is your self-perception of your sex. Can that self-perception? How do we link that self-perception of your sex to the gender woman? How do we do that?
How do we say again? How do we link the
self-perception of your sex to the gender? Or let me ask you a question first. Is gender a social category? Is it constructed socially or biologically?
I mean, linguistically, sure, which is, I guess, culturally.
So, like the category woman has been created socially. It wasn't a category that existed biologically.
I mean, it existed. We just now, had made a word. However, human language has evolved. There's always been a word for man and woman, chair, bird,
category woman. Would the category woman exist without human society?
Correct. Yes.
It would. What other creature would be a woman?
Nothing but a female adult.
So, like, a female adult dog would be a woman.
I mean, we have a name for that. This is why we have different words for different.
Sure, but I'm asking about the category of woman. Can a female adult dog be a woman?
It would be a woman dog, yes.
It would be a woman dog.
Yeah, that's why it sounds clunky. That's why we say dog. I don't know if we have what
about a female adult whale? Is that a woman whale?
It would be a woman whale, yes.
Yes, it would be
but
a woman whale.
But it sounds clunky, so we say female whale. Or, I don't know if they call her a sow.
So all females on this planet are women to you?
Say it again?
All females are women?
To me, all females are women, yes.
Okay, female trees are also women.
Are they of the female sex?
Yes, plants have sex.
I guess they would be.
Plants have sex.
Yeah, it's a female tree.
So it's a woman.
I mean, like I said, it's clunky. It sounds clunky.
So it's a woman.
Well, we say female because woman is the human term we have applied to female adults.
Okay. I'm asking you if females are women. You said yes. And now you gave me a definition of gender. What's your definition of sex?
Sex is the pretty much the developmental pathway a human has went to either arrive to male or female.
So only humans have sex?
No, we're talking about humans, bro.
Yeah, but I asked you for just a blanket definition of sex. I wasn't specific.
I mean, it depends. The idea, I use that term because it encompasses any individuals with DSD issues as well, or DSD syndromes. When it comes to
Right.
sex, there's
But
determining.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying animals have sex, but your definition of sex, only humans can have sex.
Well, no, everyone, obviously, all other animals and even plants have it. This is why we.
Okay.
I don't know
So
about
would you like
plants
to change your definition of sex then?
I do it for the humans because we have the DSD.
I'm not asking
and
you
it's
to split it. I'm
responsible.
just asking in general, what is the definition of sex? Pretend I'm an alien. And how would you describe sex to an alien?
Yeah, I think medical science describes it as an individual who either has or makes or potential to make small gametes or large gametes.
Okay. So, sex is the biological traits associated with gamete production. Gender would be a self-sex perception. Do animals have self-sex perceptions?
I don't know. Do we ask them? That's why we can't. This is why we talk about humans, because we can actually communicate.
Do
with them.
trees have self-sex perceptions?
I'm going to go with no. They don't have consciousness.
Okay, so then how can a tree be a woman?
You said a tree is a woman.
Nope, this is per
I
you.
say
You
it's
said
the
that
female variety.
all females are women. You said this, and I asked you, are
All
female trees
female
women? And you said
humans-
yes.
All female humans are women.
So female
why I said adult female.
so other species females would not be women because they're not human.
It's a clunky way to say it, but yeah, if you want to say it like that, like a 3-year-old.
Okay,
Look,
so
Mom,
great.
it's
So
a girl tree.
So what I'm going to
Sure.
do is I'm going to erase all of these times when I wrote down, are female dogs women? And you said yes. I'm going to erase all of this because now what we've determined is that only humans can be women. So gender does not exist in any species besides humans. Is that correct?
We have not labeled. Some we have. Some we've like the hen or the sow.
I'm sorry.
We've
So
labeled those
we
because,
can determine the gender of other creatures, or then it's not a self-perception. It's an us perception. You said gender was a self-perception. Now you're saying gender is a societal perception.
I mean, it depends on where you want to attach it. There is the societal perception, but I'm talking about specifically.
Okay. Well, then let me ask you again. I'll ask you for a definition of gender again because now we're changing it. Because here we are talking about, in order to have a gender, you must be able to self-prescribe a gender. I actually agree with that 100%. But you're saying female dogs would be considered women, even though they don't self-prescribe themselves as women because we can't talk to them. They wouldn't know what a woman is. They don't have the brain structures to even know what a woman is. So what is the definition
you apply
of
that
gender?
To me. You say that, I'm saying that. I don't say that because I say it's clunky, and we have a term, bitch, evidently, which is whatever. But yeah, we apply
every single thing we've talked about here is a critique of your claims and arguments. We are just self-analyzing these. Well, that's what we're doing.
No one goes around calling a tree a woman.
I'm
or a dog a
based
woman.
on I'm asking based on the questions I asked you if these things would fit into these categories.
They would fit in the categories in the female category. That you want to think that I say it's a woman, I don't know what to tell you. If that's how you want to do it, then by all means, yeah. Hey, Daddy, look, it's a girl gorilla. The little kid at the zoo is going to be like, yeah, it's a girl gorilla. Because that's the only language they have.
Do we say it's a girl gorilla just so it's easier for them to understand? Or do we say it because it's a biological fact?
Both.
Nope, it's only one.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Gorillas can only be females. Gorillas can only be females. Gorillas aren't girls. They're just females. What's your definition of girl? What's your definition of girl?
Because, let me explain that. Because the little kid asking their dad doesn't know exactly what a female is in all of that word means. They do understand what a girl is because they're a little girl. And they're a female, right? They're a little female.
It's not because of some biological reality that the girl is a girl. We're just doing it so that children can understand this. So essentially, what we've boiled down to is the reason we can't create a definition that encompasses trans women, when we're talking about women, is because you don't want it to be more difficult than what a 3-year-old can understand.
Well, it's simple because the little girl doesn't, like I said, she would understand that that individual is a female like her, maybe because she is also female and a little girl.
Hey,
Like, again,
might it
it
be the
links
case?
back
Might
to
it be
the
the case that it's
biological proof.
okay that definitions are more complicated than a 3-year-old can understand it, though?
I mean, yeah, sure, but we're,
Okay, so
helping
I'm
them
gonna
out,
go
just
back.
like we
I'm gonna
do
go
with the
back to my
animal.
first. I'm gonna go back to my first question then on this board. Why can we not change the definition of women to include trans women?
Because they are not female.
We've already determined that you don't have to be female in order to be a woman.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because again, the word is
What is
attempting
gender
to
again?
describe a reality.
What is gender again?
It's someone's subjective self-perception. When they bring their body out in public, it's no longer subjective. They are out there.
How can I determine what gender I am based on my self-sex perception?
This is the what's it called? The mystery of transsexualism. We don't know. Outside of the individual reverting and looking not only at their body but the others around them.
I'm sorry. So you're saying gender is your self-sex perception based on looking at your sex and looking at society, and there's like a linking between them of determining. So then who determines what gender somebody is? You or society?
What gender is? It's going to be you.
Who determines what gender you are? You or society?
In my definition, me. I don't know. How are you using gender? Let me understand, because I don't understand how you use it.
Hold on. Wait, I'm totally okay with your definition of gender, one self-sex perception. Totally fine with that.
Okay.
Now you're saying the person that determines your gender off of that is you, the individual. But now all of a sudden, and we know that woman and men are the two gender categories that exist in human
right.
society, right? Or at least in our Western society of humans. So what would determine whether you're a woman or man would be you, the individual. But when I say trans women or women, you go no, because I've determined that they're not based on their sex.
No, because someone who is pre any kind of medical transition, when they present themselves out in public, they may feel and think they are men or women, but they are not seen like that because
What is it? Wait. Again, hold on, Liz. Who determines because you're contradicting what you just told me.
I'm showing you the reality.
Who determines your gender, Liz? You or the society around you?
You individually and the society around you collectively.
No. Okay.
When they look at
so now we have to move the goalpost because I asked you this and all you said was you, the individual.
It's not moving the goalpost. It's the reality.
It is, Liz. Yes, it is. You quite literally did just move the goalpost.
No,
literally
I'm filling out the rest. I'm filling out the rest of my argument. This is the quote unquote not the problem.
Okay.
But the issue the trans person has.
Let's start this again. Gender.
Come on,
this
man.
is all based on what you said. Gender. One self-sex perception. Who determines that? You, the individual.
The individual.
The two gender categories are women and men. You, the individual, determine then which category you would fit in based on your self-sex perception.
Yes.
So why can't trans women be women? So why can't trans women be women?
Because do you think the individual
it wouldn't matter.
Out
Wait,
there?
Liz, per your argument, it wouldn't matter what other people see you as because it's a self-sex perception.
It does.
No, it doesn't because it's a self-sex perception.
See,
okay, here, let me ask you this.
Let me ask you. Perception. Hold on, can I get this out?
So ask.
I cannot see your self-sex perception.
So ask.
Right? I can't see your self-sex perception.
So ask.
Why should I ask if nothing is different? If you look like the average male,
it doesn't matter what you look like. Liz, it doesn't matter what you look like. Looking is not in your criteria of how you are a woman or a man. It's just about, it's self-sex. Liz, I'm writing down the things you're telling me. And when it comes to gender, you didn't say what you look like. You said one self-sex perception. It has nothing to do with how you look. All it has to do with is your perception of your sex. And that determines whether you, the individual, are a woman or a man. You determine that. But now you're saying no, because if then I look at you and I see you as different, then you can't be a woman. Liz, this is incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
Yes,
Hold on. Can I get this out?
You're fully contradicting yourself right now.
No, I'm not, because we are not in a vacuum as an individual. We are out in public, right? Again, I can't see your perception. Sure, I will ask. And if you say woman or whoever says woman, But before me is what is I've known historically in reality to be a man. What am I supposed to do with that?
So then what you're saying is what determines whether you're a woman or a man is society's perception of you.
It's both. This idea, it's layered, bro. Like
Okay,
you can
great.
really
This is
can
what
you
we
not
call
hold these two
this
things
is what
in your
we
mind?
call moving the goalpost because I asked you this, Liz.
It's not. No,
Liz,
it's not.
Liz,
You didn't
Liz,
let me finish.
Liz, no. Wait.
My
Don't play
man,
that. Don't
tell
play that
me.
I didn't let you finish. When I asked you what gender
You
is,
didn't.
the only thing you said that gender was one's self-sex perception. But now you're saying
Correct.
it's actually how society perceives you, and
No.
that is going to trump your self-sex perception every step of the way.
Do you know why it's going to trump it?
Why?
Because biologically, you are not a female, which is the term woman people are used to.
I don't
That's why.
care what the term is used to, what people are used to.
Well, I don't know what to tell
you're
you. That's the
telling
whole
me
issue.
gender is self-sex perception. That's what you
Right,
told
and
me.
it's
You know how I know you told me that? I wrote it down. Let me ask you a question, Liz.
I
What
know.
is a friend?
Say what?
What is a friend?
I don't know. I don't have any. A friend is anyone that you've come to camaraderie with for whatever reason.
How do you determine when somebody is your friend?
Everybody has a different standard.
How do I know which standard is correct? How do I know objectively which standard is correct?
You don't. It's only yours. It's your
Oh, you
subjective
don't?
standard.
Society
Yeah.
can't place a perception on this subjective thing. That's not rooted in biology.
I mean, yeah, I guess they can't.
So
But
could
that's
could
removed.
I as a society go, hey, no, like if you said, hey, this person's my friend because we've hung out once in a group setting and now I consider them my friend. And I go, no, we as a society have always determined friends as being people we've hung out with multiple times. Could I do that?
Yeah. This is a false analogy. I'm sorry.
It's not. It's directly analogous.
Do you know why it's a false analogy?
I'm
Because
sure
there's
you're
no
going to come up with a
conflict.
made up reason.
Hold on, babe. There's no conflict between someone's self-sex perception and their actual biology. This is the transsexual.
I'm sorry.
issue.
Actual biology is not perception. There 100%
That's
would
the
be
conflict.
conflicts here.
That's the conflict.
Liz, you don't know
You-
what the
you
Liz,
recognize
this has
that's the
been-
conflict,
This has
though,
been
right?
so embarrassing, and
It's
like
not embarrassing.
Liz, yes, it is. You have been
Why do
logically
you think?
inconsistent multiple times. One's
Hold on.
self-sex perception is not what their biology is; it's their perception of the biology.
Of course, this is why they're dysphoric, because they recognize
Liz,
they
you
have the
don't- Liz,
opposite
you
sex
don't know what
biology.
Liz, this is so illogical. It's not even funny.
Bro, are you serious?
And in fact, this
This is so
becomes, you know, the
disingenuous.
crazy thing? This becomes, you know what's crazy? Do you know what's the like wildest thing? This becomes logical the second you affirm trans people, because what you're spouting to me, fun fact, is most of our arguments on why trans women are women, because it's not about society's perception of you. Gender is about your brain's internal subjective perception of your sex and how that sex relates to the society at large. It's not about what another person says you are. It's about what your brain determines you are through a linking of your gender identity with your schema on the female sex. But you keep getting up all to that point and then go, but they're not women because society says they're not women, which is dumb and
that's
incoherent.
not what I said.
Yes, it is, Liz. Don't fucking tell me that's not what you said. I have the whole shit
can I
recorded
finish?
and written down. No, you can't. Bye. Get the fuck out of here. That's not what you said. Please get the fuck out of here. I have all of this shit written down. I wrote down as you spoke. Women and man, society's perception of you. I wrote it down when you said it. Fuck out of here. Shout out to Kaleidoscope for paying to boot that guest. Like, bro, I literally said I'm going to write this shit down so I have what you say verbatim. My God. My God. My God. That's it for calls today. Thank you to who was it? Winnie was screening today. Thank you to Winnie for screening. Like, dude, like, you can't in one breath say it's about your perception and then the other breath say it's about what's the actual biology. Because if that's the case, you would just say gender is just what your biology is. And so then we get back into, well, gender is just whatever. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. Should we go through our super chats? Fuck, dude. What the fuck? Oh, wait, we can't because I broke the super chat thing, actually. I guess we could still kind of do it. It now looks like this, but there's nobody on the other side. It should be fine. It's not about your self-perception. It's about the way society sees you, but it's also about your self-perception, but it's also about the way society sees you. It's also about your self-perception. It's also about the way society sees you, but it is also about your self-perception. But, oh my God, it's also about the way society sees you. But it's also about your self-perception. But it's also about the way society sees you. Anyway, Misha, thank you for the super chat, said, I'm starting to slightly doubt the veracity of this FIFA piece. Rise. Got off. Matt Doherty, thank you for the super chat, said, been watching your backlog over the holiday break. You're a great man. Love the depth of knowledge you bring to political discussions. Hey, yo, thank you. Until I rest forever, said W. Thank you for the W. Thank you for the super chat. Glam Pixie said the US is a grift. True. Thank you for the super chat. CMDR plays. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Until I rest forever again, said W Jovan. WU, friend. Escaping AZ to 3 said love your work. Thank you. Papa Snowflake said, do you have a recommended reading list anywhere? I'd like to see what books you've read to see if I've missed any good ones. I always tell people just look up the Essential Marxist reading list. It's like 120 books. Start there. That's one day I'll put together a full reading list. I mean, kind of do. If I just took all my books, maybe I should just do that. Take all the books I own and do that. Laura T. Kiwi Burb said, caller, can you read a book on critical thinking? Oh, of course they can. Fake Gaming Nerd said, where has Mr. Whiteboard gone? Were you no longer able to pay him? The whiteboard's in the garage. It just doesn't fit easily in this office. Like, it would takes up too much space. I'm going to use it for video essays, though. Brick said, make like Ray Charles and hit the road, Jack. And he did. Oh, I'm still recording. What the fuck? Fake Gamer Nerd said, Boot Andrew been tearing through the Jovan members only backlog, but I've never caught a stream live and I've always wanted to boot a guest. Hey, W to you. Historically, Glamping said, historically black and indigenous women weren't considered women, Liz. We don't keep bigoted terms. True. And then Kaleidoscope Green said, for my trans brothers and sisters. Yo, thank you for the super chat. Oh, hold on. I think we got one more up in this piece. Misha said, Women Whale was worth the price of this super chat. Thanks for the exasperated laugh, Liz. You absolute buffoon. Woman Whale was crazy. Like, what? Anyway, that's it for stream today, guys. Thank you for being here. No stream tomorrow, but we're back Monday. Probably going to change the time of Monday to 3 p.m. because, like, it just actually kind of worked out. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for chilling with me. Thank you for wrecking and repping and sidestepping. Apologies to Andrew Wilson. I know you called in. We didn't have time to get to your call today. I promise we'll get to it on Monday. So please call back. Apologies, we didn't have time to get to you. Thank you guys for watching stream. I will see you all on Monday. TTFN, goodbye.